Another Sunday, another case of the Scaries to start work week. Welcome to the newest edition of the Sunday Scaries, where we have all your gore, lore, and more, covering all the latest horror happenings, slicing open all the latest horror news, and dissecting it bit by bit, finding all those juicy innards. Pour yourself a nightcap and turn your fright light while we take you on a tour of terror. And we're back here with two of the best-looking guys I know.
What's happening? We're here.
You're looking way better today.
Oh, thank
you.
Oh, you know, we're starting off very complimentary this Sunday evening. I think it's a full moon, isn't it, guys?
It is. It's supposed to be a blood moon. So, you know, it's going to be pretty interesting when Luke starts changing midstream.
I was going to say, man, if anybody's likely to turn into a werewolf, it's got to be Dylan. It's the beard, bro.
I figured. That's what I was going to go with as well.
I want to go hard one of these years. One of these Halloweens, I think maybe when Atticus is a bit bigger, got a little extra money, I want to either pay somebody or get a prosthetic built, because like I feel like with the way my hair is, if I get it a little longer and just do the beard like this and let it grow out, if I was to puff this all out, I could do like a very good classic Wolfman. I feel like.
I think so too.
Oh yeah, you could be like barefoot, get the little tootsies out.
Yeah, I'll dress them up. I'll do the whole thing.
Oh,
I'll do the whole thing. Yep.
Very sensual.
Yep. Oh, they're already noticing, Adrian.
I know it's tiny and it's corny. We got the gang up there, 11, you know what I mean? All the other G's, Mike, Will, Max, Dustin. It's a start, but, you know, we're getting there. I can feel it, dude.
He's got the mood set. You know, Adrian, it doesn't matter how tiny it is. So,
at least it's all about the motion of the ocean, as they say, right?
Got to build that confidence.
I appreciate you guys. That's all it's about, dude. The journey.
There it is.
A little collection back here.
Yeah, each week we'll add something new, maybe. So, we got a mood set. I love the was that like purplish blue?
Yeah, I was trying to contrast y'all's lights. I was like, Dylan's got mostly red, a little bit of blue, kind of gives it a purple vibe. You got like a green, mostly green, slightly orange thing going on. I wanted to contrast a little bit in color there.
So, I like it.
I like it too. I wanted to put up like purple and orange for like Halloween colors, but I don't know. I want to short out my circuit breaker. Got a bunch of uplights for my DJ days.
I feel you. I am. I don't know. I'm feeling like very rushed into all this. This week was crazy. Like, I feel terrible. I know I was supposed to get back to Erica about the Discord. I saw she messaged me a couple times. I'm sorry. I woke up on Monday with a sick kiddo, and then ever since then, it just felt like I was playing catch up with myself on like all the projects. And then this last video, I have not had a problem uploading a video like that in so long. I don't know what changed or what happened, but like, I think it was just one of the movies I was talking about, Cannibal Holocaust, because I had to upload that thing 6 different times. It was stupid.
That was really reminiscent of when you had first started doing the list, because every time was like you'd have to jump through a hoop before you got kind of a rhythm down as to how short the clips could be, what you could do, and kind of putting things over it. But it was like that was the biggest task we've had in months, honestly. Usually it's like maybe one upload that is an issue, and that's iffy over the last few months. But this one was just being a bastard.
It was a nightmare. I mean, like I was just sitting there doing my best. Like I had to end up shrinking all of the actual screens and putting because I put the standard black or not the black, the red like misty looking video behind it, and it still didn't take it. Once I put black video, stagnant black video behind it, and just like made it very nondescript, suddenly it was like, okay, we can do this. It's like I don't understand. And then like at one point on like the 4th upload, it was like, hey, we'll get back to you in 24 hours. I'm like, no, you won't. Like, please, like, why? What do you mean 24 hours?
I saw that as soon as it got uploaded, because I had never seen that message before, where it's like, oh, we have to put this under an extra review, where it's like up to 24 hours, where it could be a bot or a human looking at it. And I was like, what the hell is that? I've never seen that before. But, always something new, always something fun as we're trying to drop these lists.
Yeah, this was definitely a tough one, but I'm feeling better. I feel great. I was just telling these guys before we started that I've been working on some fun new videos. So and if you are subscribed to the Patreon, you already know one of them. we're racking up a list. I'm letting the Patreon members go crazy here, and they get to recommend all the movies that I'm doing my next little like disturbing reaction stuff to. And there's some movies on there. I'm doing like light research on all of them as they're dropping in. Granted, a lot of them I love because like some of them I've never heard of, and then there's a handful that have been like on the list, but I never know when to get to them, or I've just kind of like feel like I got to put other things first. So the fact that they're recommending them, it just shoots them up. So it's been a very, very good couple of days with that. But I'm eager to start watching those. So
that sounded sincere. With the little grimace at the end of it. But you know, I think, especially Dylan, when you and I talk about, you have so many usual suspects when you're talking about disturbing stuff, and it's always nice when you get a different recommendation, because I I've been keeping up with the comments of the ones you just of your list that you just released. There were a couple in there I never heard of. So I made a note of them. I haven't looked them up yet, but I always love when you get something extra disturbing in there that is not even on your radar.
Mm-hmm. And like I'm a huge fan of like this so far. I didn't know how this was gonna go. If people would be like super into this, but like Mama Mayhem, Daddy Maggie, Penelope, TS Mum, George Blackwell, all these people, and Gannon's in there, Violet, all of them have been dropping really cool stuff. So it's like I'm excited to actually sit down and watch some of them. There's one on there, I won't say who or what it is for surprise purposes, that I was dreading somebody mentioning, and it got mentioned, so I think it's a sign that I have to do it. So I've never seen this movie, I've only heard about it, and just from the description alone, I'm like, this is just everything that I hate, and I'm not looking forward to it. But I think it'll be funny nonetheless. So
it'll be a fun reaction video, Dylan. So that's what you got to keep in mind. Then you get to go watch some Disney Plus afterwards. So quick bounce back.
Hey, we got some Disney Plus stuff today to talk about. We're definitely going to be talking a little bit about that. We had the homework this week that everybody watch VHS, the first one.
I did.
All right, hell yeah. Adrian, did you watch it?
I did not. I tried, man, but Julie was like, I'm not in.
Anyway, so we're back to
denied.
I deserve that shit, man. I did watch the Conjuring one, though.
We can talk a little bit about that. We won't do spoilers, but yeah, that was the big movie of the week. So we can dive in there. Let's see what everybody's talking about here in the comments. It's absolutely nuts. We used to come into these things and have like maybe 4 or 5 people, and then it would kind of build up. We're coming in here and there's like 50 comments now. I'm like, oh, good Lord. I
love that.
I gotta hop right into it.
I know. I always feel like I'm behind, but let's see. Mostly people greeting each other, which is awesome. So, we got Maxine, love to join, but the live in England's 1:30. Well, we thank you for leaving a comment anyway. No problem at all. We appreciate it. And obviously, yes, we hope you guys will go back and watch this. If you can't stay up, we understand. Let's see. So I watched The Sadness yesterday. Totally awesome. Great recommendation. If you haven't seen it, you have to watch it. Yeah, The Sadness is slowly becoming one of my favorites when it comes to the zombie virus subgenre. That's one that I'm really hoping Luke will reappraise one day, because like I know when you saw it, that was like pretty extreme. You talked about that like that was rough, and it was at the time, I think. But now that we've kind of familiarized ourselves with some stuff, I think that the story and all the fun stuff and all the cool virus shit shines through a lot more than the skull effing stuff.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and check that out one day. That scene really caught me off guard, especially at that time, specifically staying away from stuff that like had SA in it, and that one catching me off guard, thinking, whoa, what the hell is really going on here? And that stuff I still stay away from. So it's a little bit of a harder sell to go into it, but especially since I've seen it one time. But what year was that come out? Because I had seen that initially when
2021.
Okay, so I saw that either a week after it dropped. It was really soon, so may have to go back and check that one out and see, especially getting onto this more gory tenure that we're on. See how that one holds up.
I think I think just seeing all the stuff that we have reviewed and just how crazy this subgenre goes, it seems way more tame. Like, it's not by any standards, but like I think it's way more interesting because it's actually, again, it's not just people like August Underground where they're just recording pain and terrible stuff. It's like there's a story there. They're having fun. They're doing some cool things. Yes, it gets a little out there with some of the stuff, but I do love it. And that lady is just nightmare fuel. Like, oh my god, the old lady that's in all the marketing, she's terrifying.
I remember that was a terrifying scene when that had popped up. That was like, initially that was the most terrifying thing until we got to the skull stuff, and then I was like, well, now this is a
and the subway scene is crazy too. It's just gory, just absolute like bloodshed in that scene.
Yeah, especially again at that time in 2021, had not really checked out a lot of disturbing stuff. I didn't know if there was too much gravitas to it, so I know a lot of people were talking about the sadness when it had dropped. So I was like, let me check this one out, and I was caught off guard with how gory that was. But that was again really early on before really checking out a lot of the stuff that we've seen in some of these lists. So I'll have to go back through a different lens and see how disturbing that one is actually. Now that I'm a little bit deeper into the disturbing space.
Absolutely. We got Gannon in here. Today I watched 28 Days Later, 28 Weeks Later, and Cannibalism. There we go. I can say both 28
eating.
Days and 28 Weeks. Yes, a lot of people eating. Both excellent movies. Different in their own right, too. Like, I know some people, it's you love or you hate. I like both of them. I just think, like, I like the first one a little bit more because I think it just feels more simplistic, more raw. But I do like the whole idea of, like, the military coming in and or I guess in that one, it's the United Nations, isn't it?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, they come in and try to, like, fix everything, and it all just goes to hell. I think the opening scene of 28 Weeks might be the best scene out of the franchise, though. Yeah. I think that whole opening is so intense. It's absolutely nuts.
Yeah, that one, I'm doing a list on cold opens right now, and that one is certainly in the
contender.
Yeah, right now. Nice. So I just revisited that one. And man, what a brutal scene. 28 Weeks Later is a fine film. I don't like it as much as I like 28 Days Later. Just two different flavors, it feels like. But that opening scene for 28 Weeks Later, I mean, I think it gets you so excited. I think maybe that was my problem going into that film, where that initial cold open is so well done and really gets your heart pumping. And then we kind of get into that deeper military story where, you're introduced to Jeremy Renner and kind of that fun comedy between the military group and stuff, and doesn't necessarily hit as much, especially after coming off such a tense scene. I think the rest of the film is definitely intriguing, especially with the dad angle and stuff like that. And I think it works, but some of the scenes, I just feel like, I don't know, it gets a little too big for me. Some of the CGI doesn't work, and it's just like, it feels a little bit different, a bit of a different departure from 28 Days Later.
I will say, it's also shocking about that. I won't say exactly what it is, and because I don't want to spoil it, even though it's pretty old now. What happens to one of our main characters? Didn't see that coming at all. Like, that was crazy. When I first saw that, even as I saw that when I was still pretty young, when that one, my dad rented that from Netflix, and I hadn't even seen the first movie. So I just watched that one, just going right into it. And when that happened, I was like, what, really? Like, I thought that was the main character. Oh, well.
Yeah, that one certainly catches you off guard, especially the way that they built that up. I remember watching that and being like, hold on, I'm not necessarily believing what I'm seeing here. And like, even on a rewatch, because I hadn't watched that one in forever because they were harder to find. And I'd forgotten exactly how each different scene went. And I remember watching, this was a refresh. I think this was even after 28 years later, I had watched them. And I went into that scene. I totally forgotten about it. And I was like, I think I looked down at my phone for 1 second as everything was going on. And then I had to rewind it because I was like, wait, am I missing something here for a second? Because that scene just catches you completely off guard.
Yeah, no, it's certainly a memorable flick. And I think like it's got moments. I agree with you, though. Overall, I think I'd put Days and Years ahead of it. But I just think it's just so like quick. It feels like the movie is like after that cold open, it feels like the movie itself is only like 45 minutes. I mean, I know it's longer than that, but it just feels like everything happens so
because they're constantly
fast.
moving. It's like they never. I think maybe that's why I find it a little bit different. Where I think 28 Days Later, you have those moments of when they're in the apartment and they're meeting this the family, and it kind of slows down for a little bit. You're kind of getting deeper character work and relationship work. I think throughout those, you have those beats where you're just kind of sitting in the scene for a little bit, and sure, it drives the story, but I think, you know, you're getting to know the characters a little more. Whereas 28 weeks later is, as soon as all hell breaks loose, they're constantly on the move, on the move, on the move, because they got to get to the next thing. They almost factor in that idea of they're on, like, they have a timestamp for everything where it's like, oh, you got to get here in a certain time or else everything's going to blow up. So you always feel like you're on the move. And you're not necessarily taking those beats of, you're just sitting there learning more about the characters. And I think that's why that one moves. It certainly feels like a way quicker film than 28 Days.
100%. And I know, Adrian, you're a pretty big fan of this franchise now. So, like, where are you sitting with that? Are you a weeks or a days fan more?
I mean, I feel like I just remember a lot more of Days, you know? It could be because my girl's man crush is Oppenheimer, you know what I mean?
Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, so, you know, that movie will always just stick in my head. Also, that was like the movie that kind of put the whole franchise on for me back when we first started hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I barely remembered it, but when you visited, we watched it, kind of like caught up on that whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
You know, kind of brought me back a little bit. But yeah, if I had to rank it, I'd definitely go 3, 1, and then 2.
Fair. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those two where it's like, I think that's where some of the discourse lies with people too, is because, like, some people are like, yeah, 3 is like their favorite now because of what it's setting up and what it's doing, which I think we'll dive a little bit into that. I didn't see it in the news there in the breakdown, but I know we made a mental note to talk about that for a minute. But let's go through a couple more of these real quick, and then we'll kind of hop into some fun stuff here. Yes, I will definitely click into I'll actually do that while we're on. Since I'm here, I'll just click it and get into it. I completely trust you, Erica. I know you've been working hard on that, and I feel really terrible because, like I said, every time I remembered to do that, I was just like, it was right before I'm like going to bed or something. I'm just like, oh, fuck me. Like, I got to do that. And it's just like, and it was like one of those things where it's like, I had just been either fighting copyright shit or just trying to get, like, we still even haven't reviewed Conjuring yet. Like, we're going to, but it was just like, there's so many reviews out for it right now. So it's just kind of like, we knew it would just get lost in the shuffle. And honestly, after the uploading fiasco of the last video, is just like, I just wanted to get myself set up properly this week. So I think this week will be a much more put together week. So we'll have that.
No doubt.
Oh, this one's good. Finally went to local Spirit Halloween and nearly slapped down 300 on an adorable Sam animatronic. Bought some Art the Clown merch instead. Yeah, that's the way to go. Art the Clown merch. It calls to me every time I'm there. I have not seen the Sam animatronic. Was that there? Which one did you go to, Luke?
I haven't seen the Sam animatronic either. I've been to, there's one up here in the Akron area. So I've been to that one, and then there's one out in Canton. I think it's on Dressler Road. If you know that one, so those are the two that I've been to thus far. I don't think I've seen the Sam animatronic.
Neither have I.
I did see they have that really cool, if you guys have seen it online. The one that is really close to me didn't have that subway setup, but the one in Canton does. I thought it was really fun.
Yeah, it's we love that. Atticus was really afraid of the stand that you stand on when you're driving the subway train because it shakes. And then the next time we went, he just couldn't get enough of it. He was just constantly getting on it. So very fun stuff.
It's a fun time. I love that setup. It's just such a nice piece. I mean, Spirit always has great stuff, but I think that honestly is the one that's going to stick out. That's going to be the one that sets the bar, I think, for all future Spirit Halloween setups.
Yeah, I mean, they're killing it every year. I like it. Necro McAnimal here, of course, and same director of The Sadness is making the movie adaptation of Crossed, which is basically the same virus. I think I left that in my video. I don't remember if I mentioned that, or I know I recorded myself saying that, but I didn't know if I cut it for time or not. But yes, the director of The Sadness is doing Crossed, which, like Necro said, is basically the same virus in a sense, or kind of the same issue. People are just kind of going crazy and being absolutely sadistic. So it's wild. It's absolutely nuts. Let's see here. Cannibal Holocaust is way better than Green Inferno. I strangely, I'm going to say Green Inferno is more watchable after this round with Cannibal Holocaust, after learning some new things about it. Yeah, that's more watchable, but I think, like, on the whole, they're pretty, I could see why people might like Cannibal Holocaust more because it's a bit more like art house. I don't even want to say art house, but it's not as like exploitative as like what Eli Roth's Green Inferno is, where it's like it's intentionally trying to gross you out.
You know, I actually haven't seen either Cannibal Holocaust or Green Inferno. I remember when Green Inferno came out, I think, didn't Knock Knock come out very close to Green Inferno, if I'm remembering correctly?
I think so. At least within a year or two of each other.
Yeah, because I don't think Eli Roth had a release for a couple years, and I remember him being, I think it was on the Nerdist podcast at the time. And I remember seeing Knock Knock, but I never got I started Green Inferno, and I just remember them being on a plane, and I was like, I don't know if I'm necessarily vibing this at the moment. So I do have to go and actually check that one out. And Cannibal Holocaust is just something that I've never sat down and watched. I know of it. I've actually done research on it, but I've never actually sat down and watched that one. I know it's kind of a rough watch in some aspects of what the choices they've done. So it's been a tough game to actually sit down and commit to that one. So I definitely have to check both those out just to see how they held up. I mean, is Green Inferno like extremely brutal compared to Cannibal Holocaust, or is it kind of?
Yeah, it's brutal, but it's more like a modern movie brutal.
Yeah.
In the sense of like Cannibal Holocaust is I think the brutality, other than the special effects with like the dead bodies and stuff, when they are doing that, comes down to just a lot of the animal violence. There's a lot of that, and then there's also just a lot of essay stuff. A lot of people just doing all that, and there's none of that in the Green Inferno, but they do hint towards some I guess I hope this doesn't rip the stream down. Lower area mutilation. They hint towards that. Like it's kind of like they're building up to that. And it never actually goes that far though. He realizes that he's trying to make a fun movie. And I don't hate it. Haley and I went and saw it when we were in high school. I remember getting off work and we went to like an 11 p.m. showing because it was just, I think it was at the Canton Tinseltown randomly down there. And I wanted to go see it because I'd heard all these extreme things. And there were a couple moments that are pretty intense, but overall it's like, it's an Eli Roth movie. Everybody, all the dialogue's too crazy and out there. It's wild. Everybody's cussing every 5 seconds. So
I love it. And then we're going to get Thanksgiving too. So
I'm hoping, baby.
We're here. Well, it already filmed, didn't it?
I don't think they've already filmed yet. I think they started or something happened. I know that it got hung up on something.
Is that what happened? I remember Eli Roth was supposed to be here in a local Comic-Con, and then kind of that never worked out.
I'll have to look into it. I thought there was like a hiccup or something that happened where it got pushed a little bit, but it wasn't like detrimental. Let's see here. I prefer 28 Days over all current ones. I need to rewatch 3 when it comes out on streaming. Agreed. I'm excited to see it. It actually went on sale on Vudu, and I wanted to grab it, but trying to be a bit more money safe right now. So I'm going to hold off on that one. But also, I think because the 4K and Blu-ray are going to be out before we know it. So I think that's only a week or two. And then let's see here. Do you ever go to the horror restaurant in Cleveland Heights? Yes, I have been, actually. Thanks to Adrian right down there. He got a gift card. What'd you get that for, your birthday?
Yeah, so I was working for a family-owned company, and my boss got me that. And I meant to go, but I ended up falling out with the company, and I discovered that the card was still working later on. And I was like, shoot, I'm about to move. Hey, Dylan, you want this? He was like, boy, you bet.
Yeah, we got a nice little gift card. We actually went up there for Haley's birthday, so I held on to it for a little while. And then her birthday came around. We went up there for the weekend. It's awesome. It's a lot of fun. Food's okay. It's just diner food, but it's one of those things where it's like
dressed up.
Yeah, it's a lot of set dressings, but the food's pretty basic. But I think that's part of the charm of it. Now, what I do have to recommend, I didn't get the alcoholic one because I was splitting it with my son, but they have these things called cauldrons. They're so fun. They just come out with like a big old like fish bowl glass of just, random juices and shit put together. I think we got the Toy Story one, and they put like little Sour Patch Kids and stuff in it, but it was like coming out and it was smoking just like a cauldron, and it was cool. It was fun. So I would recommend it. It's a good time. You're going to pay an arm and a leg to go there, but I think it's the experience more than just the food.
Yeah, I haven't actually been as of yet. I always mean to go, but you know, I feel like I'm just gonna dress up like Sam the entire time and sit in the corner. So I mean, I'll probably never try the actual food.
Didn't care for Last Rites. I don't know if I can say why, lol, which is unfortunate because the Conjuring franchise is one of my favorites. Oh, okay. So if the Conjuring franchise is your favorite and you didn't care for this one, that's interesting because we were, I guess we weren't big fans of it, but you know, it was one of those things where it's like we weren't the target audience, I would say. You know, I think that there's a couple in there we've talked about liking, but other than that, I mean, like the Conjuring movies haven't really been the bee's knees for us in quite a while. So
yeah, they've been a big miss, I think, especially over the certainly 3 and now this one. 2 for me was it was just okay.
I like 2 a lot, so that shows the difference here, the dichotomy.
Yeah. And I really enjoyed the first one. I think, especially at that time, I wasn't really expecting too much of quality in terms of a supernatural film, but that one really did engage me. I think maybe I was expecting a little too much out of Conjuring 2, and it's not a bad film. It's just, you know, doesn't necessarily match up to the original. And, you know, and I love sequels. So
it was
I
weird.
always have high hopes for that second one.
I feel like Annabelle, the first Annabelle, tainted me so quickly on The Conjuring that, like, it might be why I like 2 a little bit more, because, like, I kind of went into 2 thinking, I don't think this is going to be nearly as good as the first one. And then I went in and I was like, I actually like that. I wouldn't say it's better than the first one, but I'd say that it's like, it's just a point or 2 below. I really enjoyed it. I think the thing, and I guess we'll just get into Conjuring talk right now. The thing about the new movies versus these first 2, I just feel like Ed and Lorraine, when they were working with James Wan, like he had a better understanding for how to make them feel like an authentic couple. Now I feel like they are just a dopey married movie couple in the last 2 films, especially. Like the third one was worse with it, but I just feel like they are so much more characters of the Warrens rather than I felt like, and maybe it's because we just know more about the Warrens now, but also I just feel like the first 2 movies, like they were just so much better on screen together. The chemistry worked and the characters were just so much more interesting.
And, you know, I was talking to Adrian about this before we hopped on here because he had seen Last Rites. And I think for me, there's a noticeable difference, I think, in just the way that the feeling of the films where like 1 and 2, I think James Wan just absolutely knows how to shoot horror to make it feel like a horror film. Whereas Michael Chavez, like, I don't know, it feels like more of a psychological drama. We're getting into deep-rooted issues with this relationship, things like that, where those first 2 films, they feel like 2 horror supernatural films. I don't know if it's just a difference in the styles, but I feel like I'm watching a horror film with Conjuring 1 and 2, whereas, I don't know, these last 2 just didn't really work for me. It feels like we get lost more so in the human story, and sometimes that can be good, but I think you really have to not forget that you're also telling a supernatural story, which sometimes I felt like Last Rites did that, where it's got a handful of scares, but it's more so we're focusing on the drama of the family, you know, where Ed is, where they're going in terms of their career. And I feel like maybe we didn't the focal point of being the supernatural element wasn't necessarily as prevalent as it should have been throughout the film.
Yeah, it's a wild one because again, I definitely agree, but again, I just don't understand where the disconnect is. And it's like, does it really come down to well, I gotta also check this too. I'm gonna see if, because James Wan didn't write the first one, and I don't know if he had anything to do with the writing of the second one, because like I just feel like it's got to come down to director. Then I know I beat up on Michael Chavez all the time, but like it's one of those things where it's like he is so, like, I just, again, it just feels like these characters are just, hey, we got to get through this. We got to get through the story. And I just feel like, especially in this one, how many times are we going to do the demon is hiding behind more demons? The big demon is behind all these. That's just Conjuring 2 over and over again. I feel like we keep doing that with these movies.
And I think it's kind of the layup to go with, you know, to kind of get more scares and more mileage out of it. Unfortunately, I think that's the nature of the beast. And I agree with you where it's like, it's the same thing over and over. But the aesthetic wise, I feel like there is a difference between those first 2 as opposed to the last 2. So I think it does come down to just the direction of the film in general, just because it feels almost not even in the same universe to me, where it's like, yeah, same characters, but there's such a difference in style of what we do get that I feel so disconnected. Like the second one, not my favorite film, but I can get lost in the horror story of that. You know, I think it has presents some really good elements to it, but I think when you get into 3 and 4, I don't know. I said, I think on this, was it last week or the week before, I fell asleep during 3, and I don't fall asleep during films a lot, but it just feels so boring. And I started kind of getting that going to theater. I saw Last Rites twice already, and it's like
What?
both times. Yeah.
Did you go to the theater again?
Yeah, I had to go on Friday because Zoe wanted to see it. So
shit. I'm so
so
sorry. Oh
I
my
had to go
God.
see it again. And it's like, I don't know. I felt bored again. There are, you know, especially knowing what to expect on that second viewing. It's like, I think I was able to maybe appreciate some of the tension that they built. I don't think they deliver on the scares at all, but at least the setup for some of it. But overall, I just generally felt bored through the entire film.
I gotta agree with you there. I feel like in the first half, like it had me at first, but as it started just kind of running, I was like, okay, it's that in Lorraine's scene. I'm gonna go hit the restroom or get a refill real quick. And you know, I was actually more interested in like the actual like new family in the movie because I mean that's where all the scares were happening at. That's all I was there for. Really, halfway through, picked up for me a lot. But yeah, I share the same sentiment as you guys. It just didn't really have quite as much of that creepy, suspenseful, scary magic that I remember the first one having.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those where it's like it let me down a little bit more than I was hoping. I felt like there was a chance this one, because it's supposedly the last one, that the Warrens could have a little bit more heart and tie things together, but like I don't know, I just felt like they were such a back seat to like their I really feel like they're setting up for the daughter and her husband to take over. There was so much of that passing the torch, passing the mantle kind of stuff through this, that I'm just like, is that where we're going with this? Are we going to get like an HBO series with those two?
I can see that.
And like, I felt like, especially when we're dealing with this supernatural case, we certainly get a decent amount of Ed and Lorraine and Judy and what's going on with their family. And I understand that's like the closure of the actual story arc for the Warrens, supposedly anyway. So that's what we had to treat this film like. But it felt like the Smurl case, maybe we should have introduced a stronger element earlier on. We do get some of it, but I felt like there wasn't an even balance. So by the time we get to the third act, it's like, oh yeah, we just got to force everything into here. And we have this awkward thing with a mirror going on that I don't necessarily felt like I was sold on 100% throughout the entire film. So, by the time we get to something that is just like, I'll just say this mirror spinning, and I'm like, what the hell's going on here? You know, it didn't really feel natural to me. It just felt like we're just kind of trying to inject some horror into here, because we didn't get necessarily the delivery that we got probably for 45 minutes of the film. And then we just kind of started, it felt like that third act was rushed in terms of the supernatural and horror element to it, because it felt like it had to remind itself this is a horror film.
Agreed. Yeah, I would say that it felt like it was it always felt like the scares and everything were second, like they came in second to everything, which again, I'm fine with that. I'm fine if the scares are kind of, you know, on the back burner, especially because this one is like wrapping up their story. I just don't think their story's all that interesting. Like I feel like they didn't do anything to expand upon on that. All they did was set up her daughter and her husband for potentially taking over. And I was just like, I was waiting for something. At one point, I remember I said to Luke when we saw it on Thursday, I was like, when did Ed die? Because I was like, there's a moment, and I'll say for people who've seen the movie so I don't spoil, ping pong, where I'm just like, is he gonna have a heart attack? Is that what they're leaning into? Because it looks like he's sweating and like he's getting overexerted. And I'm like, oh man, wouldn't that be something if they just kill Patrick Wilson halfway through this movie and then we have to deal with that? I'm like, that would be like so shocking to me. And it's like, nope. It's just we're just gonna keep moving. And I love how that was like such a big problem at the start of the movie, and then by the end of it, like he gets punched in the chest, and it's like nobody fucking cares. Like,
listen, he had his pills ready to go there. He had to get them, you know, but he got it taken care of, you know, and like that's where it's like I think it becomes a little bit of an issue when you're trying to go off of actual real events and real people. And I know there's some creative liberties, but it never feels like we do a huge stretch with a lot of creative liberties in terms of, what we could do is what Dylan was suggesting, where it's like, I don't know if they wanted to venture that far out. And it's like, well, it kind of kills some of the tension where it's like, in terms of the range of possibility, if you know the story, you're kind of like, oh, you get that confidence where it's like, oh yeah, it's not going to happen because, we're working off something real. So that's where I think that kind of gets thrown out the window a little bit, unfortunately, where you just don't know what's going to happen. You can kind of start connecting those dots, especially if you know the characters, know the real life people, and know that they're going to stay true to that story. So you don't have that unexpected element to it, unfortunately. And I think that is such a big part of the supernatural stories, where it's like not knowing what's behind a corner, not knowing when someone's going to die. If you have that confidence going in, I think it just dilutes that tension a little bit.
Yeah, and it's like I know The Nun and The Nun 2 are not good examples of when they just kind of take their own story and run with it. But I think Annabelle Creation is. I think Annabelle Creation shows you can do some cool stuff in the Conjuring universe that doesn't have to be based on true events. And like I really like that movie, and I think that movie has a lot of good tension, a lot of really genuine scares, and I really like the setup of the story. It makes sense. It makes the doll a little scarier in that movie and a little bit more like grounded and meaningful, because then you realize, oh, this was all out of desperation and grief. That's where Annabelle comes from. It's like, damn, that's cool.
And I love the original Conjuring. I think Annabelle Creation for me in that franchise probably comes right after the original Conjuring. At least that's how I love that film, especially after the travesty that Annabelle was and how that did not deliver. And then what we get with Annabelle Creation, perfect story. It's like what Ouija Origin of Evil, where it's like,
I'd put those two in the same camp. Like they feel like sibling films in a way, just because it's like they're both, the first films were garbage, and they're just like, yeah, they just actually put somebody who's like got an idea for a story in charge, no expectations going in, and you're just like, wow, this is actually pretty good.
And I feel like those came out fairly close together. I
think so, a couple years apart for sure.
Yeah, I think they were, because I remember thinking those two as well, where it's just like the originals are just so boring to me and are just forgettable films, and then you come back with that punch, and I'm like, man, this is why I'm a sequel slut, where it's like you get to have fun with it. You get to take the reins off. You get to really make use of the concept. And when they deliver, those sequels absolutely deliver.
100%. I do want to highlight this. This is crazy. Poppin' Fresh coming in here, dropping $19.99 on a super chat. Jeez, thank you. Holy crap.
Very appreciated.
Very much. I saw The Conjuring and Weapons double feature yesterday at AMC here in Southern California. Conjuring soundtrack is amazing, by the way. Yes, I would agree. The music in the first couple of Conjuring movies is great. It's another reason why, like, when this movie has its 20-minute opening, and then it's like, oh, we're gonna just drop the title card like they do. I love that title card in the first movie. I thought, wow, this is creepy. This is cool. I love the yellow. I love the like the strings and all of like what is it? It's that sound of like almost like someone's dragging something across like a bunch of strings on a guitar. It's like it's so good. It's so good. And like I'm watching that in this one. I'm like, really? Like, you guys are just like doing the poor man's version of this. Jeez. And Weapons is fantastic. Yes, love Weapons. Great channel, gents. Thank you for all your inside knowledge. Well, thank you again for your generous donation. You were far too kind there. I feel like we need to dedicate an entire segment to something that you want to talk about for that. So if you have anything specific that you'd like us to cover, we can certainly do that for you, Poppin' Fresh.
I'm done to talk about that mirror real quick.
Go for it.
I do kind of agree that mirror was pretty cool. When it starts, I almost spoiled it actually, but it did something in the movie, and it kind of reminded me of those old school like effects, like back in the 70s movies, kind of like with that same choppy frame rate that something from The Exorcist would have. I thought that was super cool. Also, I saw that Nightmare Files said that people were falling asleep. We also had a dude fall asleep behind us. He actually slept like we were all leaving, and he was like still there. We were like, should we wake him? And then we were out. Julie was working the claw machine, and then eventually the dude walked out. We were like, okay, cool. He's alive.
All right. We're solid. Yep. I don't know. What is this? Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to do this Discord thing also in the background here. But yeah, no, I don't know. The third one was definitely that, and I think it might have been because I was home too for that one, because I watched that one on streaming. But like the third one, by the time isn't it Patrick Wilson goes all like shining by the end of that, he gets taken over and starts chasing him with the axe. By the time that was going on, I was drifting in and out of sleep. It was very much a fever dream the last few minutes of that movie.
Yeah, it's a rough watch. And, you know, I like looking at Last Rites, and this is where I think my problem is, where I talk about Malignant on the channel, and that's like unforgivably horror, where it's like you're either in or you're out. It's such an off-the-wall concept, and I think sometimes you just have to take those reins off and have fun with it. Like I talk about Annabelle Creation, where it's like it's got a lot of great tension. Ouija Origin of Evil, they make do on the concept and really deliver as to what a viewer's looking for. When you talk about the mirror in Last Rites, and this is where I think the problem lies for me, is that we're telling such a human story, such a grounded story, and then when you add in that element, it doesn't feel like the mirror portion of it feels like unforgivably horror. But I haven't been treated to the rest of the film being unforgivably horror, where it's like, we're trying to ground this stuff and then we inject that element into it. And the problem being it's injected so like what I've talked about, what Adrian's talked about, and it's like we're kind of getting into this really, really supernatural element to it. And I would have liked to have seen that maybe earlier to kind of recalibrate my brain, or at least not that portion of it, but something a little more to it. Because I don't want to spoil anything, but it's kind of like where we see the mirror and then where we don't see the mirror. And then it's kind of like this moment where, oh yeah, this is a device that we're using in the film. So it's like, then you have to be like, almost come to terms back with it again. When you get into the film, be like, oh yeah, this was a device that we were using to tell the supernatural story. So I would have liked to see that be more of a focal point. I think that's where my problem, it's like, I wanted more with the Smorl case, where we're having so much with Ed and Lorraine. I get that that's supposedly the last time we're going to see them. It was just kind of an uneven balance for me. And it's like an over 2-hour film. So I would have liked to see more supernatural elements into that, because we have more than enough time to really make do on that concept. It just seems like, how many times are we going to have to sit here in a scene? Dylan mentioned a ping pong scene. It's like that goes on for a hot minute. And I'm like, okay, I get the gist here. And then we're kind of slowing down the film a little bit. And I kind of get that uneven pacing throughout some of it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I kind of feel like every single time a scare came through, it just wasn't really like, that crazy. It just didn't really grab me or whatever. Didn't make me jump. I was like, okay, kind of expected that. It just personally didn't feel like it paid off for me. But I mean, hey, like I said, towards the end of the movie, it really started to pick up and it got better for me a little bit. So I'd probably give it a 6.5 out of 10.
Yeah. And I don't think it's a dumpster fire of a film. I think the Conjuring films are going to only be so bad. I think the biggest issue with them is that, people can look to them to be a little bit boring when you're looking for a real deep supernatural story, especially with the quality of that first and second film, where I feel like they really do build a lot of tension. And then I think maybe the change in director really is where we're getting lost along the way in terms of that direction standpoint, kind of that pacing that we're looking for. Because 3 is a bit of a bore fest, unfortunately, and I think 4 teeters, where it's like there are just so many elements in that where I find that it's dragging a little bit. And it's like, I just really want to get to the supernatural elements to it. And sometimes I think they showed their hand a little bit too early. There's a scene that they set up a little bit early, and they kind of deliver on it early, involving a phone. And I was like, oh, that's going to come back. And then they deliver on it, and it's a little bit too early with not enough payoff for me. I was like, that could have been something you could have really built a lot of tension with. Instead, it's just kind of a one-off, and we don't see it again. Because I got excited as soon as they teased that at the beginning. I was like, oh, that's going to come back into play. And I was excited to see how they were going to do it. But then it just happened so quick, and that's the end of it.
Yeah. I also thought the phone scene was going to like continue to be a thing, like the clapping in the first one, sort of.
Yes. Yeah, like perfect, Adrian. Like the clapping scene, I think a lot of people go back to that. You know, I think that's a perfect tension. That's a perfect buildup. And that scene where the hands come out of the closet or whatever the hell it is and claps. I can watch The Conjuring and still kind of get goosebumps when I see that scene. I think it still delivers that. And it's like sometimes when you watch supernatural stuff and it hits for that first time, but going back to it doesn't continuously hit. Conjuring, a lot of the scares in the original Conjuring film still hit with me. I still get goosebumps. I still like watching stuff on in my office by myself, preparing for lists and things like that. I'm pretty cool with Conjuring. The first Conjuring is not something I like to my wife loves them, so I'm always like, hey, well, I'll watch it with her because that first one, there's some scenes in there that still give me chills as I watch it.
Yeah, my fiance's family loves like the Nun movies, The Exorcist, like newer exorcism type movies and stuff like that. But nothing really beats that first Conjuring movie for me either. I really want to rewatch those now, man. It was good that I went out there and saw that.
Yeah, especially that first and second one. Second one doesn't deliver as much. That first one is fantastic. But the second one even has some interesting story devices as well that really can strike a nerve. Rewatchability for me is not necessarily there. I watch that one maybe every so often. You know, I think I've probably seen it a handful of times. Where Conjuring, I can go back to I think that honestly, I go back to that one every Halloween to watch that one because I think it's such a cohesive, well-packed ghost story that we don't see that often. It's a more modern tale that I think a lot of those supernatural stories just kind of get lost along the way in terms of what they want to present, and it doesn't feel as authentic. But The Conjuring always hits every time I turn that one on.
And man, I just saw that Poppin' Fresh was looking for Conjuring popcorn buckets. I should have been on the lookout for that. I actually asked, so I got these two posters today. I also asked them if they had any Conjuring posters. They just said no. I was like, darn. But I didn't think about checking for popcorn buckets because, yeah, that's where I went. AMC.
Is that's the Annabelle one? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I told Dylan we were in the theater. There was an abundance of them at ours, I think, when we had seen it on Thursday. It should have been a mirror. That's what should have been the popcorn bucket. Should have been a mirror.
How are they going to do it though? Like, I guess I've seen the Jaws. Like, they have the one where, at least at Cinemark, where it's like the cage and there's like a clear screen there. So maybe they could have done something similar to that.
I mean, it wasn't the Annabelle one. It was like in the back end, right there in the ass. I mean,
yes,
I mean,
it doesn't matter.
Very much. Doesn't matter how they do a mirror.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious. We literally walked over to the concession stand because I'm like, Luke, you gotta see this. Like, this is wild. I don't know who was designing that one and where they were like, yeah, that's the one. We did it. Everything's going up Millhouse now. But it's like, couldn't have been me, man. Let's see here. I'm still throwing this together real quick, but I would say for like my final thoughts here, and then obviously we'll still put up a review maybe Monday or something, Monday night. We'll get it out this week. Maybe we'll just do spoilers and non-spoilers with that one. But it's one of those ones for me, man, where I'm curious to see where this franchise is going to go now. I hope that it's in a better direction now that we can kind of step away again from the, tying it to a true story kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, I could also just be fine if this was it. If they were like, that's enough. I think we've seen really good supernatural horror movies recently, especially in the indie circuit, where it's like they're doing such really cool shit all the time. Like, I was just talking to somebody in the comments a little bit ago about When Evil Lurks, and just how that has reinvigorated me with like supernatural horror, just like how twisted it can be and how messed up. But even things like The Dark and the Wicked, I really like how they handle that. But the Conjuring movies, I feel like if they really want to win people back, or at least win new audiences, they got to be ready to inject some new blood, some fresh stuff in there, and make it really lean into your R rating a little bit, I think. Because these movies feel like they could be borderline PG-13.
Dude, we got carded at the theater. That was the first time I ever got carded to see a movie ever.
That's wild. Like, for that movie, of course. Like, no.
It must be like a Tennessee thing or something.
Maybe. I don't know. Because like that shocks me that someone would card you for this. Like, of all movies, I don't know.
Facts. I mean, there was kids, dude. It kind of felt like a family movie. One thing I was memeing on Conjuring about Last Rites was that kind of felt like a Disney-fied version a little bit. Maybe I'm being too brutal, but I just had a really strong family element. And I wonder if that's because the audience, since the first movie is like, aged, had like families and stuff. Maybe the marketing, research shows it'll touch.
Could be. I mean, I don't think you're too far off there. Give me. I think that's like another big problem I have with these movies. It's just like, again, it's like I know people love the they love the, oh god, what is that other one? Insidious. And I like those too.
Yeah.
But like I still think like Insidious, Conjuring, like they're mainstream ghost movies, and they're just kind of like, I feel like they always do the bare minimum. I'd say the first Conjuring, and even for me, the second Conjuring, do a little bit extra, but even then, I don't think they're doing as interesting of stuff as like, When Evil Lurks, Terrified, anything else done by someone who's not Damien Rigna, because that's all I can think of right now. It's just he just showed me a different side to supernatural horror that I have not seen before, and I'm obsessed with it.
And like I said, I had went and seen The Conjuring Last Rites. I saw it twice. I saw it Thursday. Dylan and I were there. Theater wasn't necessarily packed. It was just a handful of people.
It was 3 o'clock too. We should mention that.
Yeah,
so people weren't off work yet.
Yeah, that's not my point, Dylan. Anyway, Dylan and I sat there, and there's a scene in there where it's like things are going on. Dylan mentioned the ping pong thing, and I remember Dylan leaned over to me and goes, "There's just so much filler in this," and we kind of had a giggle about it. Now, two different experiences, like just Dylan and I seeing that in the theater, then going Friday night, and my wife loves them. She sat next to me. Theater was pretty packed in terms, it wasn't like shoulder to shoulder, but of course, of all the space and time, someone has to choose the seat next to me. So I have my wife on one side and two teenage girls on the other side, right? And like I'm always like, I had already seen it, anticipating all the scares. Conjuring's not necessarily for me, and I'm kind of just like getting through the film. But on either side, my wife and these girls are just like in it. They absolutely loved every scare. They were like, that scene came up with the ping pong thing. Everyone was just so into it. I leaned to my wife and said, I mentioned Dylan and I's discussion that we had about it being a little bit of a filler, and it just a completely different experience. So it's like, obviously there's some people out here that are, these scares work. They're absolutely into it. Just, maybe we've seen just so much, really independent horror that I feel like, I think the portion of this is like, it's what The Conjuring for me, they would need to do is really re-rack and focus a little bit more on the horror elements to it, like 1 and 2 do. And I feel like we've gotten away from that. Really just make it, like I said, unforgivably horror. I think Annabelle Creation works in that space as well, where sometimes we just get stuck on the kind of the human story, which is fine, but sometimes I feel like these forget that they're horror films, so I think in order for this to continue, it's just like, do the Goat Man from The Nun 2. That's what I want. I want to see
we were talking about
crazy
that.
shit. It's like, I think that's what you need to do with this universe to really get as much mileage out of it, because they've established some lore. I think, I haven't seen Annabelle Comes Home. I know a couple of concepts from it, but the ferryman on that one, I think that's an interesting concept. I don't know how far they go into Annabelle Comes Home with that, but if that was like a main demon or whatever the hell it is in one of these things, I think that could be interesting as well. I think, just really give us those stories that are deep rooted into horror.
Yeah, let me see here. I always see the grossest horror movies and never get carded, but I always get carded for comedies. Yeah, I mean, comedies used to be the thing back. Like, I remember growing up, like raunchy comedies were like, I think at their peak, like right around that. Like they were on such a high road for so long, and like they just crashed so hard, and then we just don't see them anymore. So I feel like, yeah, you're probably going to get carded for stuff like that a little bit more, which is so weird. Cause like, yeah, you can go see some high class art house. That's hilarious, Adrian.
Georgie's, didn't even recognize
Georgie's tail
there.
just like ran right past you. But no, it's like you get carded for like that stuff. But then, yeah, you'll go see, I remember when Sausage Party came out, that was the last time I think I got carded for anything. And that was like they had people standing at the door for it. And I think if we were in a different time and I was a little bit younger, maybe would have got carded for Terrifier 2 or 3. But then again, we bought those tickets online and just kind of, you know, you just kind of walk in now, you know, you just scan it and go.
True.
Yeah, most people probably didn't even know what to expect with Terrifier 2.
Right?
At the time.
Holy cow.
Like, what's this, clown? Okay, so it's like it, but nope, not at all.
Yeah. I did want to bring this one up because you mentioned this while we were in the theater. Oculus is a very scary mirror horror movie. I wish someone else saw it. Oculus is great. And Luke
film.
literally like leaned over to me. We talk a lot during movies when we're not engaged. So it's like, he's like, he just leans over at one point. He's just like, what's this Oculus? It's like this is a sequel or something. You said something along the lines of that. And I was just like, yeah, that's literally where my head was at. I'm like, this is Oculus.
Oculus builds perfect tension for when you inject like a mirror device into a film. Oculus is probably the standard that I can think of. I can't really think of any other
mirror horror. I mean,
yeah,
mirrors,
there's probably like an
really.
Are You Afraid of the Dark or Goosebumps out there that I'm forgetting about, but you know, nothing that is actually a long narrative like that. And Oculus is perfection. It tells the story well, builds really in-depth intrigue, I think, and delivers on a by the end of it, it's like, what the hell did I just watch? And it's scary. I think that is an actual genuine scary film. And I think more people are talking about it. It's still a bit underrated though, just because, you know, there wasn't a huge release at the time, but that is always a great recommendation.
Oh yeah. I think like that's one that's fun for people to go back when they like really get on a Mike Flanagan kick and they start going back, because like that and Gerald's Game hardly ever get talked about with him, because I feel like everybody associates him with Hill House, and then Midnight Mass I still think is underrated. I think more people just say that one's boring, and I'm like, you're crazy. You don't know.
You have to be along for that ride, and then it absolutely pays off.
Oh, there was one here I missed. Yes, love the Sinister soundtrack. Yes, the Boards to Canada song in that is iconic. Like every time that song comes on in my shuffle, I just immediately think of Sinister. I love that movie. Luke, I saw Conjuring at 11 a.m. About 75 peeps watching it in the IMAX. Yep, the audience loved it. Yeah, so I guess these are still big movies, man.
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like I'm sleeping on it, but like, because we saw The Nun 2. And that had the same hype going into it, where it was like people were like, "Oh, The Nun 2 is actually really good." And I feel like that was still we went much later, like on a Thursday preview night, but like it was like 7 because we were still working at the time. And it's like, and it still, I don't think it was that packed. You know what I mean? Like I thought it was just fine, but apparently that movie made bank. So whatever.
Yeah, I think I had a bigger expectation for The Nun 2. I honestly thought that one was going to be like my Annabelle creation, where Annabelle did not work. Annabelle creation knocked out of the park. I thought The Nun was really boring to me, and I thought The Nun 2 was going to be like this redemption arc for me, and it just kind of gave me more of the same. Again, the Goat Man is the biggest win out of that film, and we only get the Goat Man for like 5 minutes, but it was my biggest takeaway from that. But a lot of people did love The Nun 2. So there's clearly a big market for the Conjuring universe. So even with Ed and Lorraine gone, I think we're going to see a continuation, probably that second, what do they call it? Like it's in the Marvel, like the second wave or whatever.
Oh, phase 2.
Phase 2. Yeah. We're probably going to see phase 2 of the Conjuring. And I think with some of the lore that they've established, I'd love to see some new things created and maybe expanding upon other things, and just kind of just make it a true blue horror film. That's what I'm after. I want to be scared, build some great tension, because there's a lot of mileage out of the Conjuring universe. It just seems like it's getting a little redundant at times.
Yeah. Necromechanimal says, I know real horror fans aren't litigious, but the mainstream bubblegum rated R gets them in trouble with normies. That's true. That is very true. It seems like a lot of like the mainstream stuff tries to stay on that hard PG-13, if you can call it that. But like, yeah, I don't know. I just think like, because like it's again, it shocks me whenever I hear that like a Blumhouse movie or a Universal like big release horror movie is R-rated. Because like, I just don't expect it. Like, is the Black Phone R-rated?
I believe so.
And is the second one R?
I'm gonna guess the second one is. Let me make sure that
it looks like intense. I am I have not been this excited for a Blumhouse movie since I think Halloween 2018.
Yeah,
Probably. That's
Um,
probably it.
Phone too.
I mean, the Black Phone for me was, my God, an absolute dream of a film.
This looks like they're finally gonna do fucking Freddy Krueger. Like this looks like a Nightmare on Elm Street sequel. Like that's what, and I don't care. I'm like, fuck it. If we're gonna make the grabber Freddy, I'm down.
Yeah,
Saw the
Black
preview.
Phone is rated R, and then so rate 2 has to be. There's no way it can't, but that's why. Yeah, it honestly it feels like I was really iffy on the Black Phone 2, like because I love the Black Phone. I was like, does this need to actually be? Do we
Nope.
need a sequel?
We don't need a
You know,
sequel at all.
was there really any argument to have a sequel for it? And then it got announced, and I'm like, well, Scott Derrickson, okay. In Scott Derrickson, C. Robert Cargill, we trust. It's like, so I was hoping for the best, but I didn't know if we were going to get a lot of mileage out of it. But the route that they're taking,
That first trailer is what sold me. I was like, I love it.
It feels like we're going to really go down the horror well and really make use of the concept. I mean, I haven't even seen the sequel. I haven't seen the second one. No one has, but I'm hoping that Ethan Hawke is going to sign on and we're going to do a continuation of this. And just like, if we're going to go that Nightmare on Elm Street route, let's do it. I'm 100% in.
It looks like Dream Warriors.
Yes.
Like that, especially because I don't know if Brandon's here, he's going to be upset because I said I didn't want to watch the trailer. And then on Twitter, I said that, and then went to see Conjuring, and it's just right there. I'm like, I'm not getting up. I'm just going to watch it. At first, I tried to play on my phone, but I got caught up in it. And it looks like fucking Dream Warriors. It looks like all those kids are getting together to fight the grabber. And he's talking about how he has this ability to like visit them in their sleep and stuff. And I'm like, dude, yes, just full send it. Go full Freddy Krueger.
I'm 100% into it. I think you can have a lot of fun with that concept.
And I really like Ethan Hawke being a bad guy. And I think he looks even better in this one. He looks so much more evil.
Yeah, I know. It's like, you can tell. I think that first one is so psychological to an extent that it feels like he was, channeling something to make that one very grounded. And it feels very grounded to an extent. We have the supernatural elements to it, but it's more of the garnish, I think, throughout the film, where this one feels like, again, unforgivably horror. We're really going into it. It feels like, from what I've seen from Ethan Hawke on this one, feels like he's having more fun, where it's like you can take those reins off. This is a true supernatural story, and we're just going to go balls to the wall with it. And it's like they've really doubled down on those horror elements to it. It's like the possibilities that we can really do anything in this world now because of the concept, the avenue that we're traveling down takes those reins off. Anything's on the table, and that's what I'm really excited about.
Oh yeah. I knew the end of Sinister going into it, and Sinister still scared the hell out of me, mostly because of the soundtrack. Yeah, the first Sinister, I always go back to this. I'll keep it very, very brief. I saw it when I was young, wasn't crazy about it. I thought it was just a goofy ghost movie, and then rewatched it before we went and saw the Black Phone, and I just had like a transformative experience. Like we're talking maybe like 12 to 13 years in between watches. And like I had never seen it again. I'd only heard people say, oh, I love it. And I always thought it's just overhyped. What do you guys mean? It's not even scary. Sat down and watched that movie. And I remember I finished it, and then I called Luke, and I was just like, hey, when's the last time you watched Sinister? And I don't even remember what you said. I thought you said it had been a while.
Yeah.
And
because that one, again, I always remember the ending. I think a lot of people do. And then I remember Sinister and Insidious. Did they come out close
together? I want to say 2 or 3 years apart.
And I remember like having a distaste for the third act, I believe, of Insidious, and then also seeing the ending to Sinister, and I was like, gosh, both films were like, didn't necessarily land toward the very end of those films, but they were great horror films. And I never went back and rewatched Sinister for a minute. And then Dylan and I had talked about it, and we did a podcast on it, right?
We did, because I rewatched it, and then because we were going to do a different movie, I rewatched it, and I remember I changed it to Sinister, and you thought that was a surprise. You didn't see that coming because you were like, well, all right. And then you watched it, and I just remember us sitting on that podcast being like, holy shit, this movie's actually great.
The movie's fantastic. The the story arc there. Ethan Hawke's performance in that is just absolutely wonderful. The scenes, with the families, things like that, are truly haunting. The lawnmower scene, everyone's going to talk about, the tree scene. I mean, all that stuff really puts you in that space for horror and just really unsettles you. It's like, I love Sinister, but like the footage of the families, things like that, it's not fun horror. It's unsettling horror, but it's not like, of course, we watch a lot of disturbing stuff where it's like sometimes you're constantly being bombarded with stuff that okay, I can expect this or I can expect that. But Sinister puts you in the supernatural element, builds the world with its characters, and then they throw in like the lawnmower scene. It's like, what the hell's going on? And then it instantly makes you tense again because it's like, well, what else are you going to throw at me? And I think that's why Sinister works so well.
And that's why I will always shit on the ending, because I don't know why. I just feel like that ending was so like quick and lukewarm. I'm like, man, why'd you do that like that? You guys were doing so good through this whole movie. And even though I adore that movie and I will fight to the end of the earth with that one, I still will have to die on that hill and say the ending is just crap. I hate it. It's so quick, and it's like, oh, why? Like, come on.
It's such an odd choice for a film that was so well paced throughout the entirety of everything, and then kind of just to wrap it up the way they do. It kind of leaves a little bit of a sour taste in your mouth just because of how well done that film is throughout, like 99% of it.
Yes, sir. Russell, what's up, my boy? What's up, everybody? Let's smash that like button. And if you haven't already, I enjoyed the Conjuring 4 Last Rites. Hi, Dylan, Luke, everyone in the chat. Yes, we were talking some Conjuring 4. I'm glad to hear you liked it, Russell. I'm glad to hear a lot of people had some fun with it. Some people didn't. That's just what it's going to be, though. I got carded at a movie once when I was 20, and they accused me of having a fake ID. Like, they thought I had a fake ID that said I was 20. Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. Like, what, like that, you're bored at work, I guess, if you're looking for an issue. Because, like, yeah, you can't even do anything with a 20-year-old ID. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you can get into bars. So
it was
literally
solely
just for
just
movies.
to get into whatever film that was, Gracie.
Yep.
They were like, come on. It must have been a hot ticket. What was the film? If you remember?
It was another Lars von Trier picture.
So there we go.
They knew they had to be big on that one. Mirrors with Kiefer Sutherland is another Mirror movie. I enjoyed it at the time. I need to rewatch that because I remember that being really good. And then I've heard so many people shit on it, and I'm just like, I remember everybody talking about how crazy that movie was.
I think I've only seen that one time. I picked that up at the rental store way back in the day. I think it's got Amy Smart in it as well, if I remember correctly. I know there's a sequel to it as well. So,
yes.
But I don't remember too much about that film, other than I thought it was okay at the time, but I've never went back and revisited it. And like you, Dylan, I hear a lot of people shit on it now.
Because it got recommended for disturbing kill scenes. Because the first one, I remember, I think they're talking about the bathroom sequence in that one. But like that's when I vaguely remember that being pretty intense. Because I remember my buddy at the time, I was friends with someone who they had seen it, and then they had like we were in middle school, I think. This was like 5th grade, 6th grade. And they had been like, oh, Mirrors is so crazy. Just look up this one scene. And I went, and we had like dial-up internet and everything still. And I was just like trying to pull this up on YouTube. And it's just like some horrific bloody sequence. My mom was like, what the hell are you watching? And I'm like, nothing. So
like, get out of here.
Yeah. Let's see this. Has anyone else annoyed with how much The Last Rites focused on Tony Sparrow? I don't think everyone knows exactly who he is. People like us who research this stuff do, and it was overkill to me. Again, I thought that was super weird. I thought, why are we like putting so much focus on the daughter and her husband? Like, again, especially if they don't like make them the focus of the next few movies or the whatever they do next. If they are just gone from this, it's going to be like, why? Like it literally feels like we're just passing the torch the entire movie.
Yeah, and that's where it's like, I don't know what the logic was. We have to double down on that story and get even farther into it, I guess, for even to make a justification for The Last Rites, because especially this being Ed and Lorraine's swan song, you think we'd get way more elements with them, especially with the supernatural element, because this is like their last ghost story in a sense. And I don't know, it left me underwhelmed. Dylan and I talked about it. It's just kind of, there, you know, and
Mhm.
I was extremely bored throughout that film.
Yeah. Again, the mysterious drifter here. Thank you. Wow, I can't believe we're getting so many donations.
We really
Really
appreciate
enjoy
it.
the vids and love the streams. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much. And then I forgot to pop this one on too. To support the channel and threaten
Erica.
people to like and share the stream. Erica, you are too much. You do not have
Too
to do
kind, too
this.
kind.
Oh my boy, this is crazy. Yes, I think the Black Phone is that October 24th? Or is that the end of this month?
I think Black Phone 2? So you
Mhm.
said? I thought Russell put it in the chat if I remember correctly, but I can't remember.
Oh boy, October 17th. Okay. So
Oh
yeah,
no,
we got
Pop and
some.
Fresh did. Oh, there it is. Yep.
Yep. I'm scrolling. I'm just gonna get caught up. So let's see here. Oh. Candyman. Yeah, that's another good one for mirror related films. That's a great one.
The Candyman's terrifying. That one scared me as a kid just because of that urban legend. And I remember I have a brother and a sister, and always each one of us daring to go into the bathroom and do the Candyman thing was always a topic within, every month. It was someone trying to dare someone to go in there and do it. And then sitting there alone in your bed at night thinking, okay, so it didn't happen earlier, but is Candyman going to come kill me?
Now that you're on your own.
Yep.
Yeah. There you go. For me, I think the one that got me really bad once, it was just like one night. It was I had a neighbor that I would hang out, like they were the only other kids on the street, and it was just me and my sister. I would go hang out with them, and then at one point went into their house. I think their mom was just like cleaning or doing something, and she just had the TV on, and it had Child's Play 3. And I had never been exposed to Chucky or anything like that at the time, but I remember watching that and being so freaked out that in the middle of the night, I did not want to wake my parents up because I didn't want them to know that I had seen something that scared me, but I was terrified. So I went out and I sat on the living room and I watched infomercials for about an hour until I fell asleep on the couch because it was the only thing that would take my mind off this little doll man running around stabbing people. And I think I had seen him attack. I think it was doesn't he attack like the and 3, he was like a I want to call him a general or something, but I know he's in military school, so it's something. There was like one adult that just like finds him and he just stabs him up real quick or something.
Yeah, it's up by the isn't there, I haven't seen 3 in a minute, but I think there's today garbage truck or something like that. I can't remember exactly.
It was like, yeah, they were in
I
like some
can't
kind of a
remember.
storage part
Yeah.
or something, like because he had found Andy and he like sent him away, and then he like goes to move the doll, and then he stabs him to death. I have yet to see 3, so
I have to revisit 3. That was never my favorite in that franchise. It just I love 2. I have such a
I was gonna
huge
say like
love
it
for
peaked
2.
it too, because like for me, I've watched 2 since the podcast again, and I love 2.
Well, and they got back on track. I think with Bride of Chucky, it offers something completely different.
I'm excited. I'm gonna have to. We're gonna have to make an excuse to talk about those eventually on the channel, because I still need to see that. I need to see all of the Chucky movies where it's like, Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky, and then Cult of Chucky, and whatever the other one is.
Yeah, and that's where it's like Chucky is such a weird franchise because it's like I love 1 for original film, fantastic. 3 is kind of like my Chucky, where it was just on TV a lot. So 2 is like the one where they're in the factory. I think it offers something different. Again, has fun with the concept. 3, I felt like it was just like it didn't really hit. And then Bride of Chucky again offers something great. Seed of Chucky didn't really like, but then when you get into like Cult of Chucky, things like that, where they're like VOD, it feels like they re-racked and started offering scarier stuff because we've been away from that aspect of it for a little bit longer. So it's kind of evolves from what the storytelling is and what they're offering, because it's like, oh wait, this is what the audience wants. So
I could tell you from watching the 2 seasons of the show I did with you, I still need to watch the 3rd, that I'm more excited for Cult of Chucky and the other one, just because like before I thought they were just direct to DVD, whatever.
Yeah.
And like seeing that they kept those storylines going through the series, and just actually being an active participant in the world now, I'm like, I really want to watch those because I think I'm probably gonna like them a lot more.
And Stephanie mentioned Bride of Chucky's her favorite because, of course, Tiffany, and absolutely Tiffany Valentine is one of the best.
It's so weird after watching the series. It's like, it's strange to me that I haven't seen a movie with her yet, because like she's such an integral part of the TV show, and she is such a big character in that it's like, it almost feels like she should have been there from the start, kind of deal. Like it would almost be like Bride of Chucky could have been like the second movie, where it's like, you know, it's like Frankenstein and then Bride of Frankenstein in a way.
Tiffany compliments Chucky so well that, yeah, it is hard to believe that she wasn't a character from the get-go, at least from the sequel. And it's like, it offers something completely new. That's right. It reignites that franchise, and it gives us a completely new dynamic. And that's why I think I love Bride of Chucky so much. It is up there in one of the top tier installments in the Chucky Child's Play universe, just because they figured out a way to get way more mileage. And I think 3 is kind of, again, I'm lukewarm on it, but Bride of Chucky just brings back that love that I think that Child's Play 2 had, and kind of really makes use on that concept.
I feel it, Bit Flipper. See, like that was me with that Chucky, and then it was also with Pennywise. I was terrified after seeing one brief scene from Tim Curry's Pennywise, like, or it screwed me up. Those are that, and then Leprechaun. So honestly, it's just 3. Like 2 of them are tiny, and they're all goofy, but that scared the shit out of me. I could watch people get eaten by sharks and dinosaurs and real gory shit all day long, and nothing. I could watch Michael Myers and Jason behead people, nothing. But you put a little doll man, a little leprechaun, and a clown anywhere near me, that's too fucking much. I can't do it.
The Child's Play and Child's Play 2, those freak me out for some reason. Going down, the stepdad going down the stairs and snapping his neck, that freaked me out as a kid for some reason. Pennywise right there at the beginning with Georgie freaked me out. That shot of Tim Curry in the sewer, I don't know why that is so scary, but I think he's surrounded by darkness, and then you have this vibrant looking clown. Freaked me out to no extent. And then the other one that weirded me out as a kid was Freddy's Dead. The one scene, for some reason, when the kid that has the hearing aid and he jams the giant Q-tip through his ears and he cannot hear anything, and then he puts the hearing aid back on him, it gets stuck on his ear, and the pins start dropping, and he kind of like his head explodes. I think for some reason Freddy didn't bother me, but the whole Q-tip scene, something about the ears freaked me out. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, I was curious because, like, which one is the one where they have the guy where Freddy like puppets him with his like veins and his tendons and stuff?
Is that Dream
is
Warriors?
That Warriors? That makes sense because I've seen that one a few times. I like that one a lot. Like that was always one that, like, not a lot of the kills like get to me, but for some reason, just like pulling on the veins or the tendons, whatever they were, that was a lot at the time. And I was an adult watching that. I was like, oh, like it made me uncomfortable in a way I had not felt in a Nightmare on Elm Street movie in God knows how long. Well, I think because we've talked an hour and 18 minutes on The Conjuring and now some random stuff, we should probably at least touch on some of the news that we were going to touch. Guess what? I am also completely a dumb fool. We never change the background.
Look at that.
We have to restart the show now, guys. Everybody, please take your questions back. Let's see here. Luke, you want to... Oh, hold on here. Let's see. Gee, my lord. Are we just like... Is somebody pranking us?
I don't know.
Why are y'all donating so much? Good Jesus. Beef cheeks on the streets. I love it. Great discussion. New subscriber. Glad to be here. Oh my god, you guys have some serious past videos I'm gonna be watching. Luke, your background display is amazing. Have a good show. Thank you so much. You. Wow, that's insane.
We appreciate it. I mean, we can't thank you enough. I mean, my gosh, yeah, this is quite the run we're having, and thank you for the compliment on the background. I'm looking for, I think when I go to Spirit at some point, I'm trying to look for see if I can hang up a sign on this side right here. They have a very cool Chucky sign. I know that, so I want to see.
I saw that one. I can look for it next time I'm at the one near Haley's mom's.
Yeah, I'd love to see if I can maybe make that fit over there in that little blank spot. I have a couple other tapestries that I have not gotten a chance to hang up yet, but I don't know. I'm really liking this one that I originally gotten for everything. It seems to work well, so I don't know. We'll play with it a little bit, but I definitely want to get a sign. But I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And then what's going on, Paula? Welcome. Yes, thank you so much again. And then you'll float to, yeah, seriously, those movies screwed me up. My younger sister is Georgie. She had a rough time in 2017, ended up leaning into it though, and went to school on Halloween in a raincoat carrying a fake arm. Dude, I literally did that costume. I did that costume for Adrian. I think it was your last Halloween party before you guys moved? Or was that during COVID?
My bad, I was muted. I think so, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, I my wife, I'll have to see if I can find the pictures. I'm sure she still has them. But it's my wife was dressed as Pennywise, did the full makeup and everything, and I went as Georgie in just a raincoat. That was funny enough the last time that I cut my beard off. Have not cut my beard since, like, I've trimmed it, but obviously, like, that was the first time I've been clean shaven in probably 5 years now. So
wow,
yeah, it's been a while. I've been a beard boy.
5 years ago, dude.
Crazy, right? It's been a while. Let's see. And then Violet popping in here with a $20 donation. You guys are doing too much. We don't need, like, I appreciate the hell out of it, but I feel so guilty. Like, these are big.
Yeah, we really
I feel guilty with a $2 donation.
I know.
And, like, oh, did you guys have any box covers or art that scared the shit out of you as a child? Mine was Shocker with the guy in the electric chair. That's a great question. Let me see.
Mechanical mentioned one of mine, Hellraiser. Absolutely freaked me out, especially not seeing Hellraiser initially. I didn't see Hellraiser until I was a more of an adult, just because my dad watched, I think, the sequel a lot on TV, and what's the female character not having any skin and being in the robe, and that always unsettled me. And then seeing Pinhead on that front cover and not really knowing a lot of the context always freaked me out. Another one that got me was Demons. Whatever the characters on the front of it always freaked me out going through. And then Ghoulies was another one that didn't necessarily freak me out, but it was like always a little bit unsettling because I had no idea what the concept was, and I loved like munchies and things like that. And then seeing them is Ghoulies or is it Ghoulies 2 where they're coming out of the toilet? Whichever one that one was
Ghoulies 1. They're coming out of the toilet.
Okay, that one always was like I remember always stopping and grabbing that VHS off the stand there and just like looking. I never rented it, but always just stared at that one.
I have one. This we did not own, but I did frequent Blockbuster growing up, and you're gonna start to see a through line here between my fears and terrors. But I'm gonna just share it because I cannot describe it well enough. So I have never seen this movie, but I remember walking into Blockbuster and just seeing this Gacy poster and just being like, I hate that. I don't want to look at that. I'd literally go through other aisles. I don't even know if my parents realized this. I was so scared of it, but like it was a new release at one point. So they had like 5 copies on one wall. And I just remember his smile there just fucked me up so bad. I was like, I don't want to look at that. Get away from me.
I'm with Luke about the Hellraiser covers. I'd be walking through Family Video and I'd see Pinhead on there, and I'd just be staring at this guy's head. I was like, is dude just like in pain like 24/7? I couldn't wrap my head around that when I was little.
It was nice. Such a weird design. It's like, what the hell is this pinheaded guy?
Yeah, Haley says she might have it in Snapchat memories. If she does find it and send it to me, I'll try to put it up on the screen for us because it was a pretty great couple's costume. And then I think there was one other one. I have to see it because I don't remember the name of the movie.
But Dylan, you talking about Gacy there, and it didn't necessarily unsettle me. It was just kind of I don't know, one of those things where you have to recalibrate your brain, because having Mark Holton play Gacy on that and being such a huge
lovable guy, and
a huge fan of Leprechaun, and then being like, what the hell's going on here? There's no way I don't even know if I've seen Gacy. If I did, it was way back when. But I just remember like being like, hey, that doesn't make any sense to me. We have to recast this because I love Mark Holton. So that was a weird experience for me.
I agree. It was one that I had never seen, but again, the imagery was enough to get me. And then there was obviously Pennywise, it was one. And there was one other, and it was like a cheap movie too. So it's like, it's probably going to take me forever to find this thing. Oh no, Jack Frost.
Jack Frost.
Oh my
Frost, 'cause it had
gosh.
the lenticular cover where it's like he was a snowman and then he had the scary teeth. I don't know why that movie scared the shit out of me. Just the cover of that one.
You just unlocked a core memory, man. That might have been the first horror movie I ever saw by accident.
Dude, you know what it might be, Adrian? The fact that family video that was down the street from your house was around for so long that I had been going in there like that Blockbuster with my parents. I bet you we were scared of the same fucking movies, like walking around
Probably,
there.
dude. I remember, I'll never forget, dude, how he was just like cutting and impaling people with icicles. You know, he melted in that bath and killed that one lady trying to take a bath. I was like 7. I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? I loved it though. At the same time, I was like, that is so cool. A killer snowman. I like that a lot.
It is a movie that I do love now. I try to watch it around every Christmas. We did a commentary of it. It's way back on the channel. You can listen to Luke and I think Gremlin was in there with us too. But we did, we talked all over.
Was that on Christmas Eve or what was that? I remember
that was a couple days before.
Okay.
Christmas. Oh, we recorded that a few days before Christmas, I think, but it came out on Christmas Eve, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, yeah, because I remember there being a snowstorm outside, and I was like, well, this is the time to watch Jack Frost, because I hadn't seen it since I rented that one from the video store way back when, and not really knowing what to expect, and then seeing that bath scene, I was like, well, here we go with the snowman stuff. Nice icicle, my guy.
It was a carrot.
Oh, was that what it was?
There was a carrot. Wow. Nobody knows where the carrot went. We all know where the carrot went, unfortunately. Hellraiser cover scared me. Saw it in a Hollywood video here in Cal. Yeah, that seems to be a popular
Hollywood
one.
video. Oh,
Ben Grimm, Monkey Shine. That's a good one. I don't think that freaked me out as much as that one intrigued me, but I could see it being one that freaks people out.
Yeah, that was always
iconic poster.
That was one I always stopped and looked at. It was like Ghoulies, where it didn't freak me out, just was like, what the hell is this one about?
Literally, Stephanie's like having nightmares of them coming out of the toilet. Like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff. That wasn't that Deep. Is it Deep Rising? The one where the monster comes out of the toilet that the woman's sitting on, and like it's like some big snake water creature. It's like terrible CGI. I'm gonna have to look that up. I'm gonna have to look that up. And then this is a great one actually. My childhood trauma movie is niche. Cherry Falls. Not really shown on screen, but the girl getting nailed to the tree terrified me. That is a good one for Luke because he's a big fan of that movie.
I love Cherry Falls. I think it's very good. Underrated flick. Certainly when we talk about like slashers and things like that, I think that one really falls under the radar for a lot of people. And you know the story toward the end is just like so somber. It's like, oh God, especially loving Michael Biehn, but you never would guess where that's going. And I remember that being on USA randomly. And it was like, I think Brittany Murphy, it was like, I remember seeing that after 8 Mile. She was already having her real heyday in terms of a lot of films that she was getting. And that one I randomly stumbled upon at the time. And was like, what is Cherry Falls? And then I absolutely fell in love with that film. I have the Scream Factory edition for that film. I think it's so well done. It's always a high recommendation. It's something... I'm trying to work into a list right now. I think that is certainly a contender for something, just because I need an excuse to talk about that film.
Yeah, that's how I feel about the couple lists. I've been, besides the one on Patreon, I've been working on a couple of fun ones because I know the Patreon one's going to be a tough one just off the films I have already assembled. So I'm doing some fun ones that if they don't perform well, oh well, this is for my mental health because like these are going to be movies I'll really like and having a good time talking about. But yeah, this is that's one of those ones for me. I was a COVID watch and I had never really heard about it. I had one other creator, I want to say it was Cody Leach. I watched a video he did on it, I think, and then you had mentioned it, and I remember borrowing it during COVID and just being like, dude, how have I never heard of this movie before? Like, it's got that perfect small town vibe, that perfect small town
Absolutely.
90s vibe. It's like, and it's so it could really happen, you know what I mean? Like, I could totally see people like in a small town getting together. It's like, oh, everybody's got to lose their virginity before you get murdered and stuff like that. It's like, this is, I think, better than like I Know What You Did Last Summer and stuff as far as that goes. It's like, and I don't know why it doesn't get its flowers as much.
I think it'll eventually come around. I think people are starting uncovering that one. And you have Jay Moore in there as
Oh,
well.
I'm gonna check that out, Gracie. I would love to. I've watched a couple of your
yeah.
videos. Your Terrifier one was great.
Fantastic. I will watch anything with Cherry Falls. So I will, a 3-hour video on Cherry Falls. You sign me up. I will.
That'll be.
I'm in line for that one.
I gotta cut the grass on Tuesday, so because I didn't do it this weekend, so that'll be probably what I throw on when I'm listening to that, because I just love listening to shit while I'm doing like menial labor.
Yep, absolutely.
Good stuff. All right, Luke. Let's gun through these topics real quick so we can hit the VHS segment.
Certainly. Well, we'll touch on the one that Dylan had suggested. He made sure that we had to put this in the rundown. With the MCU getting the Marvel Zombies that's going to be dropping on September 24th here. I believe that's on Disney Plus, and we're kind of getting was this expansion of the What Ifs, I think, a couple of years ago, where we had, I haven't seen that episode of where some of the superheroes turn into zombies, but we're getting an expansion. I think this is supposed to be a 4-part episode, I believe. And we're going to see some, I think Captain America is a zombie. I don't know. It looks like a weird experience, Dylan. I don't know. We've talked about it on the channel. I've been not on the Marvel train for a very long time. This one does have my intrigue. I remember a couple years ago, was it Werewolf by Night had come out, and I thought, what an intriguing installment for around the Halloween season. So I don't know. Maybe this one does pique my interest to check out as we get closer to Halloween.
Yeah, I can say Werewolf by Night was exceptional. That was probably one of the best things to come out since post Endgame. I was a really big diehard Marvel fan. For people who don't know in the chat, I was going every night, like every opening night, to go see him for a long time. Like way back to when I was a kid. I remember seeing Iron Man opening weekend with my dad, and like it just spiraled from there. And yeah, I've just like everybody else, they've hit their downturn. So like I've fallen off a little bit. And honestly, with the channel and just getting real ingrained into like my love of horror, there's not a lot of time to really spend with Marvel. So I was excited by this because this was rumored for so long, and then it was confirmed for a while, but then we never heard anything. And you're right, there was a What If episode that did explore this a little bit, and I thought it was good fun. I like the animation style. I think that there was a lot of fun ideas in there. So the fact that it's getting its own solo, like you said, 4-part kind of mini series, and that they're going TVMA with it, where it's going to have more gore, more violence, and everything. We're going to be able to see our heroes in a very different light. I am all for this. I like, this is like my favorite part of what the What If series did. There were a lot of stinker episodes in that where it was just kind of like, I don't care. I don't want to see this. Like, I want to see weird shit. This is the weird shit that I want to see. And I think right now this is the closest we'll ever get to a Marvel Zombies, because I know some people want this to be like a live action thing. I think this is going to be the only way you're going to get it, at least in this iteration of the MCU.
Yeah, I don't see an actual film version of Marvel Zombies happening anytime soon. I think, the fun part of this is now we're just kind of completing side missions, and I think that's what Marvel Zombies is going to be. It's just kind of like added to some sort of lore. It doesn't have to be in the main canon or anything, just kind of a fun thing for fans to sit there and digest. And I think, this coming out September 24th, being around Halloween time, it's just good fun. I'm not taking it seriously. I think it can present some interesting ideas. I think we have Blade in here as what it looks like.
It might be his only time Mahershala Ali gets to actually be. He was Blade in the first part in the What If series. He did the voice, so I think he's doing the voice here again. So it's like, might be the only time we see him, which sucks. But
and then I think we have the Thunderbolts maybe in here, or
it looks like Yelena and Red Guardian.
Yeah, so I think those interactions could be a lot of fun. Again, I'm not going to go in here taking this too seriously. This being animated, it's just something that it can be easily thrown on. I have Disney Plus already because my daughter watches Disney nonstop all day. So this will be an easy one to just throw on, check out. What is this? Probably going to be an hour long, I'm assuming. I don't know 100%. I don't think
the episodes themselves might be like 20 to 30 minutes.
Oh,
that's
so it's
about
going to be
how
even
much
shorter. Okay. So
yeah, they're not very long.
easily
I don't know how they're going to
digestible.
do this, but
I don't even know what the story is really, or this is an expansion off that episode. Do you know, Dylan, if this, or is it just kind of restarting from
I
baseline?
think this is an expansion. If I remember correctly, this is one where they're just going to continue, at least from the trailer, it looks like that. But I don't 100% know. I think, because the only thing that is weird to me is like Doctor Strange, from what I remember, he was alive and he had like these, oh, I might be getting 2 episodes confused because there was another Doctor Strange episode, but either way, it's been so long, and the first Marvel Zombies thing is so short. You could just watch that episode on its own and get caught up if you need to. But yeah, it's one of those things where I just I also have Disney Plus with a kiddo and everything. We watch it all the time, and I watch Alien on there and everything. But like, it's one of those for me where I'm excited to have something Marvel that I'm excited for again. Again, Werewolf by Night. I love werewolves. I love Marvel. Should have been one I was overly like over the moon for excited, but I was hesitant. I was like, okay, we'll see how this goes. And it's one of my favorite things they've ever done. I think it's so fun. It's so creative. It leans into that R-rated aesthetic a little bit more. And I want that character and that world to come back. They bring Man-Thing into it, and it's so good. Everything there is so perfect.
Werewolf by Night is a fantastic take. Those are the things that I want to see Marvel really expand upon and really start producing for fans, because I think those are just fun properties that don't really get enough of a spotlight. And Werewolf by Night was such a big win. Again, I went in there with no expectation as well. Wasn't necessarily hesitant on it because I think I had stepped away from the Marvel universe for so long that my expectation was just null and void. I just threw it on as something that we were going to review for the channel, and it was just such a happy viewing. I think it really encapsulates what we want, and that Universal monsters feel to it, and seeing some characters that we never really see. I think it was a perfect installment. So it's like, if they ever have an expansion on that, I am there for it 100%. But Marvel Zombies looks like a lot of good fun too. Again, nothing I'm going to take seriously. It's just going to be something I'll probably throw on. Probably get me in the Halloween vibe as well, although I'm already there, but I think it'll just kind of add to it as well.
Necro says, Erica, just watch Hellraiser without any expectations. It's worth it. Erica, have you not seen Hellraiser? Did I miss that? Let me see here. Because, like, that's crazy if not. I mean, I'm one to talk. I saw it 2 years ago or 3 years ago for the first time. So, but, like, that's... as someone who recently watched it, Erica, it's worth it. Just like Necro said, go in with nothing else, and that's it. Oh, no. Yeah, I got the pics right here. So yeah, you get to step back in the past and see what we looked like. Boom. So there we are. That was our setup. I thought she did a great job with the makeup. I loved it, and it was a lot of fun. We had to get 2 severed hands there to complete that look, but I bloodied myself up, and I thought we did great. So
I love Dylan in a yellow raincoat. It's my favorite.
You know it. And then yeah, we had all the red balloons and everything, and there's our cat. He's still around. So there's that. There's Julie. That's Adrian's wife there. And I think there's a couple videos. I won't play those because they'll be choppy as hell through Messenger. Oh yeah, there's another one. Yep, it was a fun costume. It was great. We pretty much now are dictated by whatever Atticus wants. So whatever he goes with, we try to coordinate with. So I don't know what we're going to be this year. He walked in there the first day and wanted to be the Fortnite banana, and now he wants to be Art the Clown again. And we'll see. We still got a couple of weeks, so
time will tell.
Time will tell. Let's see. Oh, Shot by Shot has not seen Hellraiser as well. Definitely put it on the list. Make it happen. You know what? Since we're so close, save it for Halloween. Make that your Halloween watch. I always like to try to watch something I've never seen before on Halloween every year, and that's a good one.
And I think 1 and 2 are great films. I think 2 is a great follow up. After that, it gets a little dicey. Some of that franchise is really down in the dumps for a lot of things, but
Thank you.
1 and 2 remain pretty quality watches.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Let's see. All right. Do we want to touch on probably the real big piece of news, and then we can kind of go into well, I'll let you choose which one, because I took over. You decide which one we're diving into there, Luke.
Out of the news portions, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, Fede Alvarez was probably the next one, just because those are the two that were advertised. So, and the third one was just kind of, we can move that to anything else. It was just kind of a filler pick. But Fede Alvarez has completed the writing of the sequel for Alien Romulus, but he did drop the news that he will not be directing this installment. So it looks like they're looking for some new blood to bring this sequel to the big screen, and no hints toward anyone that's going to be doing it other than, Fede Alvarez did co-write that sequel. So we'll have to see exactly who he's passing the baton to. I don't know. For me, Alien Romulus was a big win. I know that's kind of up in the air for people, but I think with that Alien Earth going on right now, episode 5 of Alien Earth, my gosh, was absolutely fantastic. So I really love where the franchise is going. I'm excited for Alien Romulus, the sequel for that one, to see what they're going to do, where they're going to expand those characters. I don't know. I'm on board for it. I'm excited. He did have a hand in writing that. I'm curious to see who they're going to bring into the Alien franchise to bring that one to life.
He wrote the script for this one, though. I thought, like, for the sequel, didn't he?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay. I thought you were talking about the first one again. My bad. All right. So, yeah, this is disappointing. I'm pretty upset. So, I think that I can hope that they'll put a good director in there. Somebody on Twitter made a post, and it was kind of my worst fears. Again, I'm not trying to be a dick when I say this, but who was it who directed Don't Breathe 2?
Oh, yikes.
I believe that is Fede Alvarez's main collaborator.
I'm forgetting his name.
Yeah. Rodo Sangrius, I believe is how you say that.
I think he's the writing partner as well, I believe. Correct?
Yes.
He had a hand in writing the sequel to Alien Romulus. As well as the original.
Well, he did help with the first, so yeah. And
Don't Breathe 2 is such a big departure in terms of quality.
And I've never seen it. I'm only going off what you said here, too.
I really did not like Don't Breathe 2. It really dives way deeper into the action. Again, we kind of try to get a justification for our one character from the original. It just doesn't hit for me. It doesn't have zero feel of the original Don't Breathe. No, the tension wasn't there for me. So I would be very hesitant for them to bring him in to direct Alien Romulus.
Yeah, and that's all I've heard. It was one of those things for me where I'm just like, if you're gonna put somebody in there, it needs to be somebody who's they need to have as much passion as I'd say Fede Alvarez did for this franchise. You need to do that. We see how Predator has been doing with Dan Trachtenberg behind it. Somebody that they're sticking their guns with, who's very active and wants to participate and stay through this. What makes me also kind of, shake my head a little bit is why are you not doing this? Why are you not doing the what else do you have up your sleeve? Has he been contracted to do something else that we don't know about yet? Because with him being such a huge fan.
He mentioned in that article, he's going to be doing something that is, I think he said a more personal project to him.
Okay.
Let me see. I'll pull it up here. Just give me 1 second.
I also have it up here. So
he said he wants to work on a personal project that him and his co-writer we've been keeping on the back burner for a while. So it looks like something that it's an original work. So it looks like he had something that he'd been wanting to do.
Okay. Well, I can forgive that because I love Fede Alvarez so much, but that it's I would like to see him do an original property. but like, I don't know, man. I feel like it's in such a delicate state right now that it's like having him jump ship. I mean, Alien Earth is crushing it right now. We still have to do our spoiler reviews. I finally got caught up, but Alien Earth is fucking crushing it. I think that it's all great. But I don't know, dude. I just feel like if they just throw this to just a director for hire type name, it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be, I'm not gonna have confidence in it as much as I'd like to. Can I also say, does anybody in the chat or Luke, hell, Adrian, I know, did we watch Alien Romulus when I was down there?
Yep, we did.
Yep.
And I loved it.
Yeah, I want to know, like, does anybody, any names you guys want to float for potential directors?
You know, this is a tough call because he mentioned that in terms of like having someone young that they want them to come for the jugular, basically. So someone that is hungry. So I don't know necessarily if they're going to go with someone who is an absolutely like established person that you would be like, oh yeah, that person's going to jump into the Alien franchise. I feel like they're going to go with someone that doesn't necessarily have a big backlog of films. And when we kind of go into this world building, you know, it's like, I feel like having the script already as a blueprint, kind of just trying to have someone that is able to mix maybe science fiction elements or just an otherworldly element that we're not used to in terms of the storytelling. So, you know, I had just randomly had thrown around a couple names that I feel like, since they're unestablished names, one of them is Andrew Cumming, who had done Out of Darkness a couple of years ago, which is like a complete period piece that is something completely different. We go into you know, this expansive world. It builds some great tension, has some jarring imagery, as well as we get into that claustrophobia of they're in a cave at a certain point there. So I thought maybe something like that from a world building perspective would be interesting. And then the other name that I had come up with was E.L. Katz, who had directed Azrael. Has done some work on things like Swamp Thing, Haunting of Bly Manor, as well as Teacup, which was I thought was a great show that kind of mixed in some science fiction elements as well. But then you look at Azrael, had different, again, world building, felt different from that aspect. So those were the only two names that necessarily came to my head. And I mean, in terms of unestablished directors that have some sort of resume, I would see those two picks. But, you know, other than that, I didn't really have anyone that I could say as a major player would jump into the Alien franchise.
Yeah. I mean, like, I was just kind of buzzing through names here real quick just to kind of get some refreshes in here. And like, maybe safe bet, since he's already friends with Fede Alvarez, is Alexander Aja. Would be fun to see probably tackle this. I think he's done a great job with things like Crawl and then Piranha and things like that. I mean, realistically though, I just don't know. I mean, I know people I think would do a great job and bring some intensity and bring some teeth that I don't think will ever get picked up, like Greg McLean or Sean Byrne. David Bruckner's busy right now, so I don't think he's got a lot on his plate. So it's tough for me to say. It's like,
I started running through directors, and to realistically get someone like that into the Alien franchise, I was like, I just don't know necessarily if they're gonna reach out and try to go that route with something, or they're just gonna try and pick someone that they can kind of craft and mold and be like, okay, you have a knack for world building, so let's apply that to the Alien franchise.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe Michael Dougherty. What's he working on right now? He might have a good attempt at that. I don't know. I'm gonna have to really sit on that one and think on it. Let's see. Necro says they should have AI Stanley Kubrick direct it. You know what? Fuck it. Let's go with it, baby. Let's do it.
What's the worst that could happen?
Yep. Just get Noah Hawley from Alien Earth. I've seen that. I've seen a lot of people saying Noah Hawley, but I feel like his show is working too well right now, guys. He's going to be making I think he said this was like a 3-season show or something that he wants to do. So it's like, I think he's going to be caught up. in my fucking dreams, Necro.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He can have any franchise. I don't care.
I know.
Give
Just
the
throw it
man
to him.
whatever. But like he would seeing how he brought Dune to life. I mean, he would want a $300 million Alien movie. You know what he needs to do? He needs to finish Ridley Scott's trilogy. We've already seen that he can do one Ridley Scott property better than him. So yeah, that's
I'm
some
down.
shade. That's some Blade Runner shade. I love both. Don't get on me about it. Nah, it's I'd be all for it. But again, that's complete bias. That man could touch anything and I'd go see it in a heartbeat. So I don't know. It's not the best news, but again, I just it's all going to depend who they put in the director's chair and what kind of vision they're going to bring to it. And I think you're probably right, Luke, where it's like it's going to be somebody that we don't expect, somebody we may not have even seen any of their work yet. There's a lot of stuff coming out in the next couple of weeks that are hitting the last few festivals of the year. Lots of first-time filmmakers coming up, so he could have seen something that's, you know, already been making its rounds. And there you go. Oh, actually, Poppin' Fresh, that's not a bad call. I could see them if they're fans enough. They after seeing Bring Her Back, especially dealing with a little bit more of less the party style horror. Danny and Michael Filippo, I could see them doing something like that. I think they're big enough fans of horror and sci-fi and stuff. They were in talks to do the Street Fighter movie for a long time because they're remaking that. So
yeah, I mean, again, when when I was looking for directors, they certainly were on my list of directors I'd love to see tackle the franchise. I just don't know realistically if they'd make a play for them. I think they, you know, being able to build that tension. I mean, you look at even Talk to Me to an extent, certainly Bring Her Back, where you build a lot of that somber tension. Putting that on a ship, I think would be perfection, you know. So I think it would really harken back to the original, just having that exhausting tone. So they could easily do it. It's just kind of is that who are they going to make a play for? It is more so my intrigue as to who they want behind the lens here. And there are certainly a lot of great names out there. Alien Romulus, like I said, was a pretty big win, and I just want someone of a top caliber to really handle that second film.
yeah, and that's another one I like Russell's. I assume this is a joke. But I could see it too. Unfortunately, it'd be a continuation of David. We'd get into Romulus too, and both Rain and everybody's fucking dead. They're all just dead, and David's just flying around. It would just be what was that supposed to be? Paradise Lost was supposed to be the second one, and it was like Alien Awakening. That's what it was. Was supposed to be the third in that trilogy. What a weird time for the franchise. I don't know if they want to go back to that. I really don't think that's where they want to head, especially because regardless of what people said, like people really like Romulus made a lot of money, and Alien Earth is like consistently staying up there in the charts right now for streaming. So it's like Alien is a hot property, just like Predator is now. So I think they're gonna have to start like, you know, really keeping their eye on the prize here. They can't let it get too off the beaten path. Otherwise, we'll be in a world of hurt again.
Yeah, we'll have to see what it holds. I mean, this was certainly unexpected by Fede Alvarez. I just thought it was, you know, given that he was going to be back for
at least one more.
Yeah, the follow up for Alien Romulus, just to kind of steer that ship a little bit. You know, glad he co-wrote it, but I just don't know where this goes. I have confidence in the franchise itself. I feel like they've kind of got some semblance of where they want to go with it. But I think this is a little bit of a blow to say that he's not going to be steering that ship directly. But we'll have to see who they name. I think there's a lot of great directors out there. If they have someone that's established, wonderful. So we can kind of even have more confidence in that. I just don't know if they're going to go that route, or it's going to be someone young that they're going to try to really craft to say, hey, you're going to be in for the long haul of the Alien franchise. I mean, Alien Earth is just doing a bang up job right now. So if you haven't checked that one out, definitely. Story there is great. So, hey, at least we're going to have one win regardless.
Yeah, I don't know. And then Hoblone says, is Jonathan alive back in Terrifier 4? You know, I go back and forth on this a lot. I think that Damien Leone was bullshitting when he said that Jonathan's dead, because to me, you got to go with the golden rule of movies. If we do not see the character die, they're not dead. And it feels so strange to me to have him get off the phone and then that's the last thing we see of him in the movie. And you go through this entire third act and it's like he's dead. It's like I think at best it's going to be one of those things where they chased him around and he lost his glasses and he's like injured or something, and he's going to be a surprise early on in Terrifier 4 that he's going to come back and we're going to find out that they've been fucking with him. Because let's be honest here, that would be the best, one of the best jokes that Art the Clown and the Demon or whatever could play on Sienna, is just being like, yeah, we murdered your brother, he's fucking dead, so what are you gonna do about it? Like, if they're just trying to get under his skin. But I don't know, I mean, he could be dead, so there you go.
For me, I've never was convinced one time that Jonathan was dead. Erica mentioned it in the chat there that Jonathan's too big of a character to kill off screen. I 100% agree. I think, the whole deception of Jonathan being killed, especially the stakes at the end of 3, just kind of, kick in the nuts in terms of being like, oh yeah, we killed your brother. So I think, you could take those glasses, put them on any skull. We know Art has an abundance of skulls laying around, so it doesn't really matter on who that was.
I certainly think that was the uncle's skull.
Yeah. And
that could be that.
So I never bought it for a second. So I think we're going to see Jonathan in the 4th one, and kind of, we're going to get that, moment where Sienna's going to see Jonathan. They're going to be back on screen and we're going to be like, yeah, we're back, baby. So
I think it has to come down to those two. I think it would be a perfect trilogy. Like if you go from 2, 3, and 4, if you were to consider those a trilogy of sorts, like it would be a great way to have those two, because they beat them together in the first one. I mean, obviously Sienna put him over the edge. But yeah, it's one of those things too, where it's like they could easily bring them back to get their cousin out of there. Like that would make sense.
Yeah. So I think we're going to see Jonathan back in 4. It just, Damien Leone can say anything, you know what I mean? And be like, hey, I was just pulling your leg, which totally makes sense, and I wouldn't even be upset about it. Cause it's like, yeah, deceive us as much as you can. Cause I want as much hype and throw me for a loop as many times as you can in Terrifier 4. I mean, Terrifier is such a great franchise already, but then adding that extra story layer, I think it's going to be an emotional moment once we see Sienna and Jonathan right back on screen together, or right back to, because that was what I wanted so badly in 3. I love 3. It's my favorite thus far. But, you want that team up of Jonathan and Sienna back on screen, and I think that's what we're going to get with 4.
Yeah, I could see this too. I mean, like, it would, I think I'd like this a little bit less. But like, I think I definitely see that being like, it's a good way, I guess, to end Sienna's story, where she does sacrifice herself for her brother. Because I mean, again, she very much did that in 2 by like kind of after he got the shit kicked out of him, she kicked Art or got him to come down into that little chamber with him, or at least get close to it, until he kicked her off and she fell in the water and then had to come back. So I mean, there's so many different things here at play. It's like 3 is great, but 3 really does leave you up in the air with a lot of things. So there's an interview with Leone right after the movie came out where he's talking about his reasons for killing Jonathan off screen, but in panels and Q&As, he's really coy about it. See, I just don't trust it. And okay, here. Uncle's head was on the tree as a tree topper. I'm gonna have to go back and double check that.
Yeah, I think we do see the uncle there.
Okay, maybe we do. Plot twist: Jonathan is Art. Yes, because remember he was dressing up as him from in the second one. He was like, oh, he's super cool. It's gonna be like Terminator. Art the Clown is from the future, and he's been sent back to kill his sister to stop Judgment Day.
And Jonathan is Art's father.
Yep, let's do it. I want Sienna to be happy. All she wants to have a nice holiday, but no. Yeah, dude, right? Oh my god. Yeah, I would agree. Leone has been known to be a bit of a prankster, so I think that would track. Well, speaking of track, let's talk about some tracking tape with the next review series that we're doing here. Adrian did not do his homework.
Listen, he got a background, but beyond that,
You got a poster, so we're good. But so we're gonna talk about this anyway, though. I watched this early this week after my kiddo went to sleep. He was not feeling well. I watched this on my phone, at least part of it, and then I finished it later. But this is a series of films that I really enjoy. I like them a lot. I think that some entries are better than others, as most things go. And I think recently the entries have been really solid. But we're, of course, talking about the VHS franchise. Luke's first time hopping into all things VHS. Correct me if I'm wrong. You've only seen Beyond, right?
I think I've seen some of another one that I might have been two. I don't know. There is you'll have to tell me which one this is. There's a guy that is out in the woods and they're at a picnic and there's like a zombie or something that chases somebody and
I'm
like,
pretty sure that's two.
okay,
I
and
think
then
there's a scene in
devours. That's I've seen that segment in something, and that's it.
I had seen this ages ago and I thought it was fine. I remember when it was one of the, like, early streaming days of Netflix. This was on there. And there was this in the second one for a long time. And I remember like just kind of getting both films confused as far as segments, because they are just, segmented anthologies as usual. But I remember watching this again for like the first time in a long time a few years ago and just being blown away by the names that were attached to this first one. Adam Wingard, David Bruckner, Joe Swanberg, Radio Silence, Ty West. Yeah, I mean, and then Simon Barrett is also in this. Like, this is like crazy. The amount of people that were like tied to this first film who went on to now be some of the biggest names for modern horror movies. Like, it's really wild to see that so many people got their start from this, even if it wasn't their official start. They got a start here by like kind of diving in and cementing themselves as new voices of horror.
I love it. It's like diving into this. I went and looked to see what talent was attached to it. And it's like, what a love letter to modern horror. I think this is really to just get this. It feels like a collective of creatives that just get together and do some great storytelling. It's like the who's who now as we sit here in 2025 of some of the best horror installments in terms of different properties, a lot of original properties. And I think you can kind of see those glimmers here with VHS. Each installment in here is just offers something different, I think, but also something terrifying in a sense. This is a great watch through and through. I don't think there is a bad installment in here because just the storytelling.
I don't want to cut you off, but I think this is one that's aged way better than when I first saw it. This is one that I think, like, going back to it again after seeing it a couple of years ago, I think all the shorts in here are really strong.
Yeah, it's got this dread to it as well for each different installment, which is, hard to do when we're dealing with supernatural elements or just, actual human stories of someone's going to kill somebody. But it all has that same sense of terror and through and through, where it's like, VHS Beyond, I like the installments there because they offer something completely different one to the next. And VHS, the original, they offer something different in terms of story, but also offer that same dread in each one, where it's like, I don't know necessarily if Beyond does that. It's like there's a lot of fun installments in there. It's like, oh, that's a lot of fun horror, where this one, it's a lot of scary horror.
It is. And I mean, think about the wraparound segment, the tape 56, and how, like, we're just watching this gang of people who are just shitheads.
I love that opening to like that through line of the story and where that's going. And it's like that found footage aspect. It's like not August Underground, but it's like, it kind of like
right there. Yeah. It's like you could see that happening if they continued this any further. Cause like, yeah, they like, the thing that gets me is like with the, how they like basically essay that woman and record that stuff. And it's like, it really shows they were going for more of that, like, grittier hardcore. Is like when you get to like 94, 95, 85 and VH, all that's when things get like more campy, more fun, more we're going to go with bigger out of the box ideas, is where you're right. These are more like serious, more homegrown, kind of like we're actually trying to scare you.
Yeah, I really felt like legitimately that through line of them putting in the VHS tapes and watching them, where this feels like it has supernatural elements to it, but it also feels like a very authentic take. It has that grittiness to it. It really does feel like a home movie in each different installment, even though they're offering some off the wall supernatural stuff. Again, it's presented in even a more grounded way with no explanation, that it seems like it's that much more terrifying. Where doing that comparison to Beyond, you have a stork and it's like, what the hell is that thing? And it's like, it's great. It's a lot of great lore. It's great horror. It's fun horror for me. Where this stuff, the girl in the hotel room, it's like, yeah, off the wall concept, but it's based in so much realism that you forget that it is a bit of an off the wall concept because of the way that it's shot and the way that it's presented. So it just brings in that level of terror throughout the actual film.
Yep. I gotta know, since we're a little pressed for time, I want to know, what was your favorite segment out of all these? Do you have a favorite?
I really did enjoy David Bruckner's That Amateur Night. I thought
That's
that
usually
was...
yeah, I was gonna say that's probably my favorite. I think that's the safe bet for most people on this one, because that one's just such a shocker when you first watch it. But continue.
And I did enjoy Radio Silences as well. I thought that one was a lot of fun for the supernatural aspect it was. Even to an extent, I thought Tuesday the 17th was a bit of a fun take on what you could do with that. Just a typical slasher, doesn't really offer anything overly original, but I love the presentation of that kind of the static that you never get a clear vision of the killer. And I like that tension that they brought there, because it's like, you can't do that through a lot of stuff, but being able to make use of the VHS concept, I thought that one did that one well as well.
Yeah, I really dig I dig 10/31/98 as well. I thought that was like that one has those Halloween night elements that it does make that feel very much like, I want them to really tap back into that for VHS Halloween. I hope we get closer to this, because I thought they really captured that feeling of like the Halloween party, just people being out and about and around the town. It really did feel like it was the 90s. It's like I really dig all that they did with that one. The other one I really liked was Joe Swanberg's The Sick Thing That Happens to Emily When She Was Younger. Holy shit, that's a banger. That one is creepy and very upsetting.
Unexpected turn. You didn't really know where that one was going to go. I love the kind of, I guess, resolution or whatever you get toward the end of that kind of understanding of everything that's going on. But even the presentation thereof, as we get into that idea and the tension that they're able to build, I thought that was great.
Yeah, this is one, again, I think all of these have aged like a fine wine. I think they all really hit on the core elements of what the VHS franchise has gone on to do. Like we said before, everything gets a little bit bigger, a little bit more intense. And even in the second one, I'd say that things get a little bit bigger, but they're still very much in this grounded kind of feeling. They haven't jumped the shark quite yet. And I think VHS Viral is where things get a little hairy, but they do quickly recover, I feel. And since then, I think they've kind of struck that balance a little bit better as they've gone on through the multiple installments.
And I can't comment since I've only seen this and VHS Beyond, but I think this is such a great start to the franchise. Again, this is, I think, everything that I want out of this franchise, where it's got a lot of great directors, a lot of great creatives attached, and this is what this series should be doing, is really catapulting those creatives and telling those interesting stories. And you really get to see that trajectory of them, getting a bigger break here with this VHS franchise, and then going on to do their own things and really shepherding in a lot of modern horror right now, with those interesting stories. So this one, I think this is honestly an all-time classic. This is where I had a lot of fun with Hell House, that original. I think this gave me those similar vibes where it's like, what a great start to the franchise. Hot and cold with the rest could be, who knows, we'll see. But I think this one,
I think you're going to like a lot more of these than the Hell House movies. And I think the beauty of this too, and why I think you will, is because it's an anthology. So it's like, if there's one bad segment, the next one could be a great one. It's like, and not all of them have great segments. Some of them, I will admit, are a little throwaway in my opinion, but I wouldn't say there's anything, especially like on a first round watch, where you're gonna be like, other than maybe a couple in viral. There's really only one in viral that I like. But like other than that, you're gonna like kind of probably walk away liking most of these. I think they're not going to be offensive for first time watches. It's just kind of like, will you ever go back to some of these? Probably not. But like some of them, they will certainly become favorites.
Digestible, I guess is what you're saying. But I think, they have that original VHS is one this is going to be on my rotation for Halloween. Absolutely.
I think that's a good call.
It's got a lot of great dread to it. Interesting stories, and that through line with that story there is scary as well. So this one, real great start to the franchise. We'll have to see what VHS 2 holds next week.
Yeah, VHS 2 has some, if that's the one let me double check here. I'm pretty sure that one has one of my all-time favorite segments that they've ever done in this franchise. I think it's Gareth Evans one, if I remember correctly. Where'd you go? I'm sorry, I'm on Wikipedia and they had a bunch of links to it. There we go. Who's in this? Yep, that's the one. It's called Safe Haven. So when you watch that one, get ready. That's fucking awesome. I love that one. So yeah, not to obviously spoil anything for anybody else, but if you've seen VHS 2 and you know Safe Haven, you'll know that one is pretty great. So poppin', my god. Terrifier Haunted House at Halloween Horror Night Studios features water effects, including drips, splashes, practically if you choose the Bloodbath Wet Path. I have tickets. Oh my god, I'm jealous as hell. Every year it seems like Universal Horror Nights, Haunted Horror House, whatever the hell this is called, it just gets better and better. And this year seems like it's going to be a banger year. Between this and then what I've seen, I did not like care that much for the Fallout one, but then all the previews and all the little things they've shown and stuff, I'm like, okay. As a fan of like New Vegas and 3 and 4, it's like I am really missing out. I got some mad FOMO about that because like seeing the drinks and stuff that they're coming up with, that it's like, damn, you could really, it seems like you're walking around like a vault and stuff like that. That's cool.
Yeah, that is something I'm always intrigued about. They're doing, me being a big wrestling fan, they're doing the Firefly Funhouse for Bray Wyatt, and that is something that I couldn't believe when I had seen that article of them actually posting up shop and being able to do something like that is wild. And to see whatever, I don't know what to extent they're doing something like that for, but I'd love to see. I haven't seen any pictures. I saw the setup going down, so that and the Terrifier stuff looks fantastic.
Yeah, Mama Mayhem here says I live near Six Flags, New England, and they do a pretty decent Halloween season. Yeah. What's the big roller coaster place in Sandusky? Not Six Flags. Cedar Point. Yep. Okay. Cedar Point has also, I've heard that Cedar Point does a really great Halloween one as well. More for like kids, but like I hear that it's really fun and they go all out for it. Oh man.
Man, I'm jealous about Poppin' going to the Fallout restaurant out there.
Yeah, dude, like you got to look some of this up, Adrian. It's kind of dumb. Like they got so many cool things.
I was like, is that what I think it is?
It's for the like, even though it's like technically tied into the new show, like they have shit that's like, if you've played the game and stuff like that, like what was it? There was
what's their menu,
there was a drink that I saw. Was it the stem pack looking drink?
Oh yeah, the stem pack, dude.
It's like that's awesome. And it's like if you get to keep the little like container and stuff that comes in, that'd be sweet. I really I want to get to one of these really bad. I
want to try iguana on a stick, dude.
Iguana on a stick, yeah. Cause see, like I'm looking through all the merch and stuff here now. And then also, I don't know, man. Yo, I'm gonna be jealous of shit, but that shirt they have for Halloween Horror Nights looks great for Terrifier. Like I know it's probably like $40 and whatnot, but like that looks great. I think I'm excited about that. Also, have you guys seen the little it's like a bow tie thing or whatever, a hair clip with Art the Clown on it? Here, let me see if I can find it.
I'm trying to find this Fallout restaurant menu. All right.
Here it is.
Back on task.
Oh, I found some stuff. Don't worry. So yeah, here's what I got. So here's what I was able to
stick
find.
is there. Let's go. They got Sunset Sarsaparilla. I know they got Nuka-Cola.
Here we go.
Nuka-Cola.
But yeah, look at these. I love the shirt with the Clown Cafe. And then,
yeah.
Oh, crap. And then, yeah, it's this little thing. Why is it not? You son of a bitch. But it's one of those things, like you put it over your head or whatever. It's got a knife in one head on one side and then the Art the Clown on the other.
And
I'm just
cool.
like, that's super cute. And of course, they're selling the popcorn buckets still. So,
hell yeah.
You know, if you get a second shot at those, if you haven't, which I think they were made to order. So I'm pretty sure you could get them anytime. But even the Halloween Horror Nights 2025 with Bray Wyatt, Jason, and Terrifier on there, like that's Art the Clown. It's a nice little thing. And if you're a Five Nights at Freddy's fan, obviously, oh, here we go. I can show this one much better. There we are. Look at that. Super adorable.
Very nice.
I like it. We're gonna have to go. We're gonna have to make like a special trip. I was thinking if we could ever line it up, Luke, if we ever like the year we get 1 million subs and like, you know, we're finally like, you know, million billionaires, we're Mr. Beast types. We'll get everybody from the Patreon. We'll get everybody. We're all gonna go to Fantastic Fest, and then I think like a week, like the end of that week, in Cali, they'll have Halloween Horror Nights open, I believe. So
oh yeah,
we'll just go from that straight over, and just go there, spend a week there, and then head on home. Like I want to do that because like those are two things I really want to do since we started doing the channel was go to Fantastic Fest in person, probably for multiple years if we could. But yeah, I do want to go to Halloween Horror Nights really bad.
Oh my God, yeah. There's always so many great things going on. Every year there's an interesting setup. So we've got to plan it 100%.
Yep. Poppin' Fresh says, let's make it happen. Violet says field trip. I'd love that. Honestly, if we could do like a meet and greet at like Fantastic Fest or even Halloween Horror Nights to do that. I mean, I think we could probably set something up at a con here soon. Maybe if not this summer, next summer. There's a bunch of cons that pop up in Cleveland and even some in PA and stuff that aren't that far from us. Like I do want to start going. I know Jake went to a couple this year and he's always telling us we have to go. And I heard that the Chucky house was outstanding last year. Everybody was geeking about I think it was like, it wasn't a popcorn bucket, was it? Or it was like a drink bucket or cup.
Oh yeah, it was I don't know, was it a popcorn? I can't remember what it was, but I wanted that thing, whatever the hell it was.
I know it's like they always do it up real nice over there. And then hang on, sorry for asking again. Oh, I'm sorry if we missed this. The Book of Blood. I have not seen that.
No, I haven't seen that one either.
We will have to check it out then. Let's see. It's decked out, guys. Very Bethesda game. Like if you do, yeah. So I gotta see. Like this would have been a great year to go. Unfortunately, it's just not in the cards for us right now. We are trying to you know, obviously keep this thing going, keep us moving. I mean, good Lord, you guys just all the love and support and money tonight was insane. Like, I mean, that's like all the $20 donations. That's I seriously don't think we deserve that. So thank you guys so much for
it is so
for that. It's like, and everybody's always so kind. They give us like donations, tips, things like that. It's like seriously, like you don't realize how much that helps with this because it's like, yeah, especially like the ban earlier this summer. Like I did not realize, and I don't even think Luke realized like how much that did us in for so long. Like how like you're in basically the bad zone for a while, like with YouTube, because like it just seemed like everything we were uploading was just like always getting hamstrung after like a certain number of views. And some of you would message like, oh, this never even got notified. I never even got notified about this. And it was just like we couldn't figure out what we were doing wrong. And then like I don't know, we had like a warning that was still up, and it just turned into a thing where I think on the 27th it lifted, the 27th of August.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was just like performing like it did before. We crushed 50,000 in like a week after that. And like you guys have just been supporting and loving on all the videos. And like I don't know what happened with that, but it just feels good. It was getting a little worrisome there where I was thinking, okay, we may have to, pick up some side jobs just to kind of, make ends meet and stuff. Cause obviously the world's getting more expensive and stuff like that. But I mean, you guys have seriously been the greatest. So I want to say that out front and just be always upfront about that you guys are way too kind. And I'm just still in such disbelief that we have this much support and people who want to watch our stuff.
Absolutely. It's always heartwarming. Even just have you guys show up. I mean, again, we talk about it, but just the engagement that we had even prior to starting today and everyone just in the chat talking, we already, as soon as we were 5 minutes in, we had a handful of comments just to get through. And it's always great to see just everyone show up and dedicate, their time over 2 hours tonight. And, just to have their insight, questions, everything like that. I mean, who knew we were going to spend an hour and a half discussing things that were not even on the agenda, just VHS covers, things like that. But, it's like such a great conversation, and that's due to everyone that shows up every week. So we always appreciate it. Thank you so much. Again, we can never thank you enough.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, it helps keep us afloat. It keeps things moving for us. And again, I am excited this week. I'm going to be doing some fun stuff. I'm going to try my best to get 2 videos out because the ones I have, I don't think are going to take as long to produce. Also, they won't have like a disturbing version from what I gather. There might be one that gets away with some stuff depending on what I want to show from the movie because it gets a little gory. But I will certainly be back big swinging. I know Luke has a couple that'll probably get some extended cuts on Patreon this week. And then I should be back the following week, so not this Friday, but the following Friday should be your recommendations. So be ready for that. That's going to be a fun week. So I'm really looking forward to watching one of these movies. So yeah. That's going to be fun. But
a lot of fun stuff on the agenda.
Yeah, that's again, it's all about balance. So yeah, there will be a lot of Bluey that week probably. There'll be a lot of like that. Nah, it'll be fun. It will be good. I always love this because again, even though it's shitty to watch some of those at first, it's like the reactions, everything. It as long as you stay grounded, you stay leveled, you can get through it. Okay. And yeah, I think so. For next week, we're diving into VHS 2.
Yep.
So if you guys want to check that out, give that a watch. You can be caught up for this one. If not, no problem at all. We will, of course, be here talking news, talking topics, just talking to all you fine folks in the chat before things get started. And yeah, I'm sure we'll have some more fun stuff, some more fun stories next week. Or this week, I should say, is got some wild stuff happening. I can't say what that is because I have to check with somebody. But you might see some fun little videos and some interesting things that I didn't quite expect to happen this soon. So it should be neat. So keep an eye out for that, especially Friday. So it may not just be a list this week. You'll probably get some other fun stuff too. So keep it there. And then I believe we have BSG on Tuesday. So absolutely. Yeah, Beyond the Splatter Graves is still going forward. We should have a guest on there. I believe it's like Scary. I have to double check, but that gentleman, if you are a subscriber to him, we will be chatting with him and he will be hopefully lots of fun. Very cool. I haven't met him yet. So, but Evan swears that he's a nice guy. So let's see about that. And yeah, like I said, Luke's got a video coming out and should be some fun stuff. Also, we have a couple reviews that are due. I think Traumatic is this week as well.
Dramatica and The Jester 2 as well.
Yes, that's right. The Jester 2, which I will be putting the interview I did with the director Colin on Patreon here tonight or tomorrow. I'll put that up for those of you who are interested. And then, yeah, we'll have that out earlier this week. So exciting stuff. And I think you're still talking to Jason on Tuesday?
Yeah, on Monday. Tomorrow.
Monday. Yep, tomorrow. Jason Baker.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, that's a big one. I know Luke was trying to get that interview 2 years ago.
Yes, yeah, for the Bray Wyatt video that I had done. So,
and this just fell right in our laps. So it's like, yep, a little delayed, but we'll get there. Let's see. Every time I think about the guy's face. You'd read it. Okay. Yeah, Traumatica does look good. I have not watched it. Have you watched it yet, Luke?
No, not yet.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking maybe putting that on probably tomorrow. It's just tough because like I've been spending a lot of time with the kiddo, So it's like I can't just like throw on whatever now because he gets interested. So it's like it's kind of like don't beat me up, and I hope my wife doesn't kill me for saying this, but when he was a baby, you know, he just didn't give a shit too much about stuff. So we put on When Evil Lurks, and we were watching that, and he wasn't giving a shit at all. The second the scene with the dog happens, that's all I'll say. We like paused it and like had to pick him up and rock him to sleep, basically, and just be like, okay, we're not finishing this movie until he is like just down for the count, because that would have probably fucked him up for life.
Yeah,
it fucked me up a little bit. So that's a tough one. I don't want him to be afraid of dogs. So, oh man. But alrighty. Well, I think that's gonna wrap us up here, guys. Thank you again so much for all the support, Erica. Thank you as always for moderating. Also, Erica and I got the Discord live now, so everything should be good. I believe we're all set up. If not, I will get that set up right now. But yeah, it's all set to go. I just checked it out. It's beautiful. So please join us on the Discord. I think there's a link. Let me see. Can I just drop a link in there, Erica? At any, or let me see. Yeah. Oh wow, you just saw When Evil Lurks last week. Holy crap. Yeah, that's a great one. Yep, there we go. Splattercast Discord. If you'd like to join, please do so. There's lots of wonderful sections, things in there. I am going to be learning how to use Discord properly so we can keep up with y'all. And yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I did see Erica mention Discord like watch-alongs. I need to learn how to do that. I want to do that. If that's the best place to do it, then we should, because I would love to do a couple of those, even if it was like once a month we sit down and watch a movie or two as like a big group and just commentate over it. All of us hang out. That would be fucking awesome. So let's do that. But yeah, guys, thank you so much. More to come. Another busy week and lots of fun surprises. So enjoy that. So until next time, we will see you guys later. So all righty. We'll talk to you later. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.